Welcome live to St. James Academy, home of TBN Game Day Live. I'm alongside Zachary Wolson on my right, Isaac Wolitz and Jonathan May on my left. Let's recap some of the scores and events from the past week at St. James Academy. First soccer team went 1-1 in St. Louis. They also play on Tuesday night along with the volleyball senior night here at St. James Academy. And don't forget, Sub-State Volleyball. It's going to be Saturday the 26th here at St. James. Soccer Regionals Tuesday the 29th of October as well here at St. James. So please be sure to come to these events and support our teams here. Last week in football, St. James won 28-0, got back in the win column against Blue Valley North to get their second win. Now St. James looking to kind of get on a winning streak here. They head into Kapaun this week. Jonathan, what are your keys to the game? What do you like to see last week from St. James?
I'd like to see some better line play last week. I think the offensive line and the defensive line both did a much better job against probably a smaller Blue Valley North line, but nonetheless, I think their play was really good. We saw John Tujek have a great game on the ground, as well as Mangini as the quarterback with his scrambling. So I think that's credit to the offensive line for how they were able to block, how they were able to open up some gaps. I know we mentioned it on the broadcast, but we really thought it was probably the best rushing game of John's career, and that is in part to the offensive line and how well they played. So look to continue that going forward, because that really is crucial. You've got to have good O-line play to allow that run game to develop, which allows the passing game, the play action. It just allows everything on offense to run smoother. So I think you've got to keep that up going forward.
Yeah, as Johnny said, the O-line had a great game. I think the whole team did. The Thunder dominated the whole game. It really should have been more than 28-0. And yeah, Frankie had those two turnovers early, but really overcame that, put some points on the board. So I think it was a good one for the Thunder. Yeah,
and like you said there, Isaac, 28-0. St. James probably could have gotten more points. Zach, you look at the defense, though. They held this Blue Valley North team to a shutout. How did the defense do that, and what do you like to see from the defense?
Yeah, I was really impressed with the defense just coming back. They wavered at times. Like, even when we turned over the ball, they still held strong the full game, even when we had some JV guys in there. It's a really good showing. I hope that they can continue it into next week to help Tyson as he comes back. Hopefully just bail him out if he needs.
Yeah, and you mentioned it there, Tyson Beshore, St. James quarterback. He's been out the last 2 weeks. Looks like as of right now, he is on track to be playing next week. Not sure for sure if he will be playing a escaping game, but right now I think that's kind of where we're looking at. How big is that for St. James, do we think, that maybe Tyson Beshore, starting quarterback, is going to be back this week?
I think it's absolutely huge. I think Frankie did a pretty good job stepping in for Tyson. I mean, obviously he's got pretty big shoes to fill. Tyson's had a pretty great season so far. But I think it just gives a sense of familiarity back to the offense, having the starting quarterback, signal caller back in there. I think it probably maybe expands the playbook a little bit now that your starter's back in there. Tyson has a better arm than Frankie does, although Frankie's scrambling might be a little bit better, but they're pretty even. But I think it's just that sense of familiarity, ball security back there in the pocket, and I think that his connection with the star receivers for St. James is just a little bit better, and I think that's going to pay some major dividends down the road.
Yeah, it's great to have Tyson back this week, but he also had a hand injury on a tendon, so we'll have to see how he can throw the ball. He might be a little rusty in week 1 back, but that's understood. But yeah, he's a better thrower than Frankie. Not as good of a runner, but yeah, I think we'll see some more deep ball action and put some points on the board with Tyson back.
Absolutely, especially with those two receivers, Parker Chase and Sam Neeson. They have had a really good few weeks, the past few weeks, and I think getting their quarterback back is going to be super huge for them. All right, now let's look ahead to the game tonight. Kapaun versus St. James here at Kapaun. Guys, this is a big game coming up. This is a Kapaun team that's 5-1, beat St. James last year, super talented team. What does St. James need to do to get their second straight win in the season here?
I think it all starts with stopping the run game. They run the flexbone offense, the same thing that Aquinas runs, and we saw St. James, the defense had a little bit of a fit against Aquinas. The run stop wasn't exactly up to par, and because of that, the secondary kind of broke down a little bit. And just very similar to this Kapaun team, I believe you guys said is about 85% rush. So the defense is going to be dialed in on that rush, but they have to make sure that, unlike the Aquinas game, that secondary is still paying attention to those wide receivers every time, because they can get you deep, and they will if they catch a weakness. So they've got to be able to stay focused on those receivers and make sure the communication back there is 100%, so that way they're passing receivers off effortlessly and they're not getting beat deep like we've seen kind of a number of times this season. But ultimately, it starts in the box with those 7-8 guys that St. James is going to have in there, and they're going to have to force 2-3 yards of carry And like these run-heavy teams, if you can get them behind the sticks early with maybe a sack, maybe a rush for 0 yards that forces a second, 3rd and 10, I think that's where St. James is going to really have the advantage.
Yeah, as Johnny said, the secondary has to be on point. Last year against Kapaun, they had a deep ball touchdown, maybe even 2, and same against Aquinas. So can't get caught up on the run too much. Kapaun did lose their star running back last year, Omari Elias, but they still are a heavy run team and still are very good at it. So yeah, defense is the key in this game.
Yeah, and like you guys said, obviously defense really important here, but the offense matters a lot. How can St. James offense have success against this Kapaun team?
Of course, you got to play complementary football. The offense against Aquinas in a running game, they made too many mistakes early, got behind, and it is just so hard to be able to fight back against a run team like that. It just drains out the entire clock. So as important as the defense is, the offense also has to be helping the defense out and keeping them one step ahead.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned there, Jonathan and I have talked about this a little bit on the broadcast. This is a St. James team defensively, first halves, we've seen them have a lot of success. A lot of times when they're giving up these big plays, these big points, it's in the second half. So I think that's kind of a big thing is the offense. If they can keep the defense off the field, I think the offense can have more success and defense also can have more success.
For sure, and I agree with Zach that, we've kind of been preaching on it all year that winning the turnover battle is going to be extra important. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but I feel like the number of games this season that we've won the turnover battle is probably 1, maybe even less than 1. I don't know about the Miege game, but it seems like every other game we're shooting ourselves in the foot with turnovers. So I know we say it every week, and last game was better, only the 2 in the first quarter, and then a pretty flawless rest of the game. So I think looking for maybe 1 or less this next game to really take advantage of those possessions we have and value the football.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're St. James, you're not even maybe trying to win the turnover battle. Maybe it's just you lose by 1 or you even it up because, we've seen the St. James offense, when they don't turn the ball over, they are putting points on the board pretty much every drive. So I think that's kind of the key.
I feel that being a Vikings fan last season, watching them turn the ball over and lose games by like 1 possession and they had 3 turnovers. It stings, man, so
yeah,
they got to take care of it.
It's the worst thing as a football fan, having a team that's good and just can't keep the ball. So should be an exciting game. Can't wait to have you covered here on the Thunder Broadcasting Network. All right, now we want to take a little bit of a bigger picture look here, looking at the EKL standings as a whole. Zach, what are some of the big things you're noticing about the standings right now?
Of course, as the EKL has been played, you wouldn't expect to find Miege 0-4 in EKL play, 0-6 overall. And Southwest, of course, as they had a great season last, you wouldn't expect them to be 2-4. Just pretty shocking to see this at this point in the season, but it's interesting to see how close the race is going down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Big game this week between St. Thomas Aquinas and Blue Valley Northwest. St. Thomas Aquinas wins this game. They are going to clinch the EKL, but they have a big challenge ahead against Northwest. What are you kind of seeing in that game? And then throughout the standings as well with Blue Valley and Blue Valley West just 1 game behind St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty good game. That's one of the games that we're going to pick here coming up on the show. But, this is a game that really, I believe, could go either way. And like you said, Aquinas with a win does clinch the EKL. I'm not entirely sure if they know that, but I feel like it's got to be in the back of their heads. And even if they lose this game, they still have the tiebreak over Blue Valley and Blue Valley West, who are 2nd and 3rd respectively. So if they win that Week 8 game against Blue Valley North, I think they win it as well. So it's Aquinas' to lose, but they got to get past a tough Huskies team first, which, like I said, I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, that Week 8 game against Blue Valley North, it's not a hard one to win. Blue Valley North, right where we expected them to be, 0-5 in EKL. They are just a horrible team.
Yeah, and Blue Valley North, they're a team at the bottom of the EKL right now. This is St. James' team, though. They are 2-3 in conference play. That puts them at 6th in the conference right now. They are very easily in contention for 4th. Those 3 teams ahead of them, St. James, Blue Valley, and Blue Valley West, 5-0, 4-1, 4-1 in conference play respectively. Everybody else only has 2 wins or less. So St. James, 4th place definitely is in play for the EKL. That's going to be something to watch in these last couple of games. Yeah, and these last 2 games for St. James, they matter a ton. Jonathan, why does these last 2 games matter, maybe even an extra little bit more than they already would, being the last 2 games in the regular season for St. James?
Well, St. James is looking for a better playoff seed, obviously. They got 2 games left. 2-6 going to the playoffs means that you're playing one of those top teams. And I believe, as it stands right now, looks like we're going to be playing Mill Valley in the first round of playoffs, which is obviously they're a really good team, probably a team we're going to want to avoid. But if you win these last 2 games and you end up, 4-4, even 3-5, your first round matchup gets a little easier. I'm not saying it'll be easy. It's still 5A. The teams are very good, but gets a little easier. Definitely have a much better chance to win than against Mill Valley. So 2 huge wins here could allow maybe an extra game or 2 in the playoffs, maybe a potential deep playoff run. We'll see how the team is looking.
Yeah, and this is a St. James team first year in the 5A playoffs, so getting every little bit of help they can is going to matter. Maybe getting a slightly better seed because you pull out one of these last 2 games that you maybe aren't expecting is going to be huge for St. James. Now let's do our predictions here. We each have made our predictions the last 5 weeks. We unfortunately were not able to film last week, so we're just going off of our 5-week record here. Isaac and Zach are tied at 14-11 in last place. Jonathan is at 17-8. I am at 19-6 through
You're up
5
2
weeks.
games on me now?
I'm up 2 games. That's correct.
gosh.
What a nerd.
So our first game we're going to be picking here, Blue Valley Northwest, St. Thomas Aquinas. We talked about the implications of this game a little bit earlier. Jonathan, who do you got in this one?
I'm going to go with the Saints. You know, they're undefeated. I really don't have a reason to believe that they're going to lose any of these games just with how good they've looked this season, how good that offense has looked. But like I said, if Blue Valley Northwest were to pull it out, I would not be shocked. I think they're a very capable team, but I am going to pick Aquinas in this one.
Yeah, of course, Aquinas just proving time and time again that they know how to win. They win the close games. Last week against Rockhurst is an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Valley Northwest, they're coming off a rough loss last week and lost one of their key players. So I like Aquinas here, but Blue Valley Northwest definitely coming in with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I think this kind of is recipe for a little bit of a surprise win for Northwest with them coming off the loss and Aquinas almost losing last week, but I'm still going to go Aquinas. They're undefeated. They, I think, are the best team in EKL, one of the best teams in the state, so I'm going to go with the Saints here.
Yeah, I'm going to be the odd one out. I'm going to go with the underdog, Blue Valley Northwest.
Okay.
They've looked solid all year. They've never gotten blown out bad. I think that they're going to go on the road and upset Aquinas here.
All right, we'll see on that one. Big game in the EKL. Next one up, Blue Valley West versus Blue Valley. A couple really talented teams, 2nd and 3rd in the EKL respectively. Zach, who do you got in this one?
I like Blue Valley West here. Blue Valley has a great defense, but Blue Valley West with Tate Nagy at quarterback and all their playmakers can really put up a lot of points and cause some problems for Blue Valley. So I like them.
Yeah, I'm also going to go West here. I think they have a really good team. I think they're honestly the team that they're probably the 2nd best team in the EKL right now. I would say behind St. Thomas Aquinas, and that's by a fair little bit. So I think I'm going to go with them against Blue Valley this week.
Yeah, this is a hard one. Blue Valley West is a great offense, but Blue Valley has a great defense. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Blue Valley in this one.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me because, frankly, I was not impressed with how Blue Valley played against St. James. I mean, we gave them essentially half their points. They really only put up 10 on us. But I'm still going to pick them against Blue Valley West. I think, it's a rivalry game. I think they'll bounce back. Again, both these teams looking for better playoff seeds. Blue Valley also moved down to 5A, so they're looking to play one of those teams kind of towards the bottom. Both 4-1, tied for 2nd EKL, but I think the Tigers have got this one.
All right, next game we're picking here, Maize South versus Derby. Maize South, a 5-1 team. They just lost their most recent game. Derby, 6-0. Isaac, who you got in this one?
Derby, they've been great for a long time. They're 6-0. I think they're going to be on 7-0 this week.
Yeah, Derby. Nothing really more to say. 6A powerhouse. That's all I really got.
I also like Derby here, but it'll be closer than maybe people think. Derby, of course, is very explosive, one of the front runners in 6A right now, but Maize South leads a really good passing offense led by QB Tate McNew from last year, who throws for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. Closer than people think.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. I actually think Maize South's going to win this one. I see an upset here right now. Derby, 6-0 team. They're one of the best teams in the state, maybe the best team in the state, frankly. I still think they can go ahead and win state even if they lose this game, but I kind of see upset here. Maybe a little bit of a gut check game for Derby heading into the playoffs, but I think Maize South's going to pull out the upset. Next one we're looking at here, Blue Valley Southwest, one of the lower teams in the EKL, going up against a 5-1 DeSoto team. I'm going to pick DeSoto here. I think it's going to be a really, really close game between these two. A couple good football teams, but I'm going to go with DeSoto.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go Blue Valley Southwest. I know they're 2-4 overall, and DeSoto's 5-1, but I think the strength of the schedule that Blue Valley Southwest plays is going to translate. Their level of competition is probably a little higher than DeSoto, so I'm going to take Blue Valley Southwest just based on the teams they play. I think they're going to be ready for them.
I'm also taking Blue Valley Southwest. DeSoto's strength of schedule, this isn't impressive at all. And they lost at Baser by 2 touchdowns, so Blue Valley Southwest.
I like Southwest here, but only because I feel like they can jump out to an early lead and suppress DeSoto because they've got their rushing offense, so I feel like if they get behind a little bit, they're not going to be able to keep up with Southwest.
All right, last game we're picking here, Olathe East against Shawnee Mission East, battle of the East directional schools in Kansas here.
Oh.
Isaac, who do you got in this one?
Yeah, this is kind of hard, but I'm from Shawnee, going with Shawnee Mission East, Lancers, or whatever they are.
Born and raised.
Going with the hometown team.
I'm going to pick Shawnee Mission East as well. I am also from Shawnee, but that's not the reason why. 275 rushing yards a game, 18 rushing touchdowns on the season for Shawnee Mission East. And I think that's something that can easily continue into this game against Olathe East. You know, flashback to our directional pick game that we did with these two Eastern schools, but I'm taking the Lancers.
This is a very interesting game. It's basically a toss-up to me. I mean, you wouldn't expect preseason for either of these teams to be in the position they are in now. Both having fairly new coaches, both running flexbone offense, but I think Olathe East could win. I like Olathe East here, sure.
There you go. All right, I'm going to go Shawnee Mission East. I think I'm going to have to agree with Jonathan and Isaac on this one. Should be a good game, but ultimately I think I got to go Shawnee Mission East. We'll see how this pans out. A lot more disagreement this week than we've had the last few weeks.
For sure.
Should be fun to see how it plays out. All right, we'd like to welcome you back here to TPN Game Day Live. We'd like to start by apologizing for all the construction noise behind us. I know that can be a little distracting, but obviously love being out here on a brisk Tuesday morning in front of the St. James Academy football field. Anyway, all right, we'd like to thank everybody for watching TPN Game Day Live alongside Zachary Woolson, Jonathan May, Isaac Wolitz. I'm Will Nichols. Now let's head up to the booth in Wichita for St. James versus Kapaun Mount Carmel. For watching TPN Game Day Live alongside Zachary Woolson, Jonathan May, Isaac Wolitz. I'm Will Nichols. Now let's head up to the booth in Wichita for St. James versus Kapaun Mount Carmel.
We ask you, Father, to bless each one of us, especially the players, parents, students, coaches, and officials, all here this evening. Protect these players from injury, and keep us under the protection of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, and help us be aware of his presence with us in this game. Please now join me in praying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. St. James, pray for us. Father Kapaun, pray for us. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
It's not Lenexa. Overland Park, no way. Kansas City, not a chance. It's Wichita, and St. James is ready to bring the Thunder next on the Thunder Broadcasting Network. And a good evening, Thunder fans, and we welcome you to Wichita, Kansas, as the Thunder look to get their first winning streak of the season going tonight against the Kapaun Crusaders. I'm Will Nichols alongside Jonathan May. Jonathan, what are we looking for tonight?
Well, Will, the Thunder face a tough opponent tonight in this 5-1 Kapaun team. Coming into this game, Kapaun has had an extremely potent run game, and with St. James struggling to defend the run all year long, it could be a long night for the Thunder.
And on the offensive end, the quarterback position is what to watch tonight. Today, our entry report is presented by Performance Rehab, which is dedicated to patients' health goals and success. Jonathan, what can you tell us tonight about St. James quarterback Tyson Beshore's availability for today's game?
Yeah, well, Tyson Beshore has been out the last 2.5 games with a hamstring injury, and he will be out again today, as he did re-injure that hamstring after practice yesterday, so he'll be missing a third straight game, meaning that Frankie Mangini will start his third straight game for the Thunder tonight.
Should be a good one. Thunder and Crusaders next here on the Thunder Broadcasting Network. Right now, we are seeing the coin toss. Tonight's coin toss is brought to you by Smoothie King. Enjoy a smoothie with a purpose. St. James just came onto the field. Kapaun about to run on here. We have just 6 minutes till the game is about to begin. And Jonathan, who are your Shields X-Factor players tonight for St. James?
For St. James, I'm going to go with a bit of an unorthodox answer. I'm going to go the linebacker core of Jack Bevitt and Hank Schreiner. This Kapaun team, as you guys will see, extremely heavy in the run game, about 85% run. And so those stoppers in the box are going to be extra important tonight for the Thunder to limit that run game. You know, last year you saw Amir Elias rush for over 200 yards against the Thunder, I believe. That absolutely cannot happen again. They've got to find a way to shut that run game down and force Kapaun into the uncomfortable nature of the pass game.
Absolutely. That's going to be key for St. James tonight, like you mentioned. Fullback Cal Purvis, the junior, he is an elite player, one of the best running backs in the state. They also got Ken Huff, a sophomore tailback. He's going to be on the wing. And this is an offense, they run a very similar offense to Aquinas. What can you tell us about that, Jonathan?
For sure. You know, it's the flexbone offense. Most St. James fans have seen it about 1,000 times and are probably sick of it, as I am, just watching triple option the whole game long. But like I said, that defensive front, all those guys in the box is going to be extra important. And like you said, Will, Cal Purvis weighing in at 6'3", 215, so he's a very big kid, as well as their running back, who is a sophomore. And you don't start as a sophomore unless you've got some skill and some talent. So they've got a very dangerous run game as referenced pregame, so St. James is really going to have to be ready.
Absolutely. You said 6'3", 215 is what number 11 Cal Purvis is listed at. I'll tell you, looking at him, he looks like he's probably an inch taller and a few pounds heavier than that. He is a very, very big guy. St. James has struggled against the run game all season long. Meanwhile, run game is going to be important for St. James tonight. This is a night where it's pretty windy. It's probably about 15-mile-an-hour winds coming towards us here. So top of your screen, down to your bottom of your screen. That's going to affect passing all night, especially with the backup quarterback. Run game is going to be really important tonight for St. James.
Absolutely. You know, those deep passes are just going to be extra difficult with this wind. And we saw last week probably St. James' best running game of the year. The offensive line was really able to block well against the Mustangs and get to that second level to allow John to have definitely his best game of the season, arguably one of the best of his careers. The outside runs for that to get going tonight, because a windy game, like we just said, Kapaun runs a lot. A windy game favors them, but if St. James can get their own run game going, that'll even the playing field a little bit.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a lot of running the football, and you know, it's kind of been talked about all week. I think this could be a shootout. That's kind of what we're looking at right now, which you don't normally associate with running the football, but these are two teams that I think their defenses probably struggle a little more than their offenses sometimes, and I think you're going to see a lot of points tonight. Like I mentioned earlier, right now is the coin toss. Tonight's coin toss is brought to you by Smoothie King. Enjoy a smoothie with a purpose. As you can see out there, Kapaun with the blue shirts, white helmets, and white pants. St. James in their all whites tonight. Beautiful night out here outside of the wind, probably about 65 degrees. Sun almost all the way down.
Tonight we represent the Greater Wichita Athletic League. St. James, you're the visitors, you'll call it. The league logo's a head, the center's a tail. Tail, head. What is your call? Tails is the call. It is tails. What's your choice? Steve, which way do you want to kick? Okay, see right where you're at. St. James won to toss, elected to receive. Good luck.
All right, so as you heard there from our crew chief, St. James will be returning. They will be going right to left here to start out in this first quarter. So now it is game time for St. James. This is St. James team. They won last week against Blue Valley North in dominating fashion, but their 2 wins so far have come against Bishop Miege and Blue Valley North. Those teams combined have 1 win. This Kapaun team has 5 wins on the year, so this would be a big step up for St. James to get the win tonight. But definitely feels like something that could happen, as Kapaun's a team that's probably played a little bit lesser opponents than St. James has played up to this point this year.
For sure. I think St. James' strength of schedule is definitely going to help them out tonight. And you know, like we've seen kind of in years past, the St. James team has a tendency to start slow, but then when they get rolling, they're tough to stop. You know, I think back to our freshman year when we started 0-4, ended up 9-4, I believe, winning that state title, didn't lose for the rest of the season. So that 1 win last week, they're hoping is just going to translate into another win tonight, hopefully a win next week against what will end up being a tough Blue Valley West team. But you just got to take it 1 game at a time. You got to focus on this game tonight.
Caden Cornwell going to be kicking off for Kapaun here. Kapaun struggled a little bit with the kickoffs all year. They've been very inconsistent in that area. St. James also team's been really inconsistent on special teams. That could be an X factor. You see not a great kick. It's caught and it's going to go out of bounds rather. Tujak was the man closest to that one. It will go out of bounds, so St. James will start their drive 15 further yards up than they would have had the penalty not occurred, and they will start their drive at the 35. Backup quarterback Francis Mangini, he had a very solid game last week after a couple early fumbles, really recovered. What are kind of the keys for him today in this game as St. James plays a really good Kapaun defense?
You just got to take care of the ball, because we saw in that second quarter played a very clean game, was able to lead multiple touchdown drives. So I think if he can just get into that rhythm early, put together a solid drive here and not turn the ball over, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the night, and I think it's going to set him up for success.
1st and 10 now for the Thunder. 35-yard line is where they start. It's going to be a reverse. It's going to be a pass. He gave it back to Frankie. Caught. Parker Chase, big play. It was a risky play. Parker Chase went up there and got it, and a big play on the first one of the game for St. James.
Wind is not a factor tonight so far. Joshi did not care on that play, and you love to see, you know, I was wondering a little bit why St. James decided to accept that opening kickoff. You know, usually teams, when they win the toss, they'll defer. They wanted to start the game off with a bang, and no better way to do that than with a little bit of trickery that leads to about 30 yards.
So now already at the 44 in Kapaun territory. It's going to be a straight run with Mangini, the quarterback. We're going to see that a lot tonight. He got 4, maybe 5. It's going to set up a second down and manageable.
And you're right, Will. That is something I think we're going to see probably 5-ish times tonight is those kind of QB draws up the middle. We've seen in the past few games Frankie really develop as a runner, and his scrambling ability is very good. He's just got to make sure to secure that football every time.
Spread formation, and man goes off sides. That was Kyle Kia, the senior, jumping off sides. That'll move St. James to a second down and 1 rather.
5-yard penalty, second down.
St. James had a lot of success with those hard counts this year. They've gotten teams to jump pretty consistently, and they got one early on, just a minute into this game. St. James back in the same formation here. Give to Tujak. He gets his first touch. He got a first down and about 5 more. Nice run by John Tujak for the first down.
And there's that run game that St. James is going to want to get going tonight. You know, we talked about the wind, and even though they did come out throwing on the first play, that wind is going to affect those downfield throws. So if you're able to pick up consistently 4 to 5 yards on the ground, that just allows your offense to really be flexible and to take chances when they feel like they can exploit something, because you know you can reliably get that yardage back on the ground.
Drop back, blitz, Mangini flush from the pocket. He goes deep. Oh, it was just incomplete, intended for wonder there. That was very close to being a big-time play for St. James and ultimately could not finish it off. Now it will be second down and 10 for St. James.
Love to see the composure there from Frankie. Feels the pressure coming up the middle. John Tujak does a great job picking up that free rusher, and he just simply runs to his left towards his arm side, finds Jude, delivers a pretty great throw to Wonder. Just unfortunately goes through his hands, but love to see the composure and the patience back there from McGinney early on.
3 to the left, 1 on the right. It's going to be a keep from the quarterback. It's going to only go for a few yards, and now first 3rd and long of the night for St. James.
McGinney on the keeper. Who's roped down by Austin Howard. Short gain on the play. 3rd and 9.
So 3rd down and 9 here. St. James likely looking at throwing a pass here, probably 4-down territory. This is a game where I think we're going to probably see not a whole lot of kicks outside of PATs and maybe chip shots tonight, because with the wind and the kicking situation of both these teams, I don't think we're going to see a lot of long field goals attempted. So run and pass both available. Probably looking at a pass here are the Thunder. Drop back, good pocket all day. He finds a man. It's Wonder up the middle of the field. He's still going. And it's going to be just short of the end zone. But what a nice play, Wonder. He almost got the big play down the field, and then he got it back on that one. And a great pass from Mangini to get it there.
Great improvisation by Jude there as well. Does a nice job when the play breaks down. Nothing really happens for a second, and he just finds an area of green grass that the Kapaun isn't covering and sits down. Frankie, again, composure, able to just slide out of the pocket and find him, and that gets him all the way down to about the 1-2 yard line.
Now let's see if they can punch it in. They're going to give to Tujak, let him have a shot. St. James signals touchdown, and they got it. So St. James gets a touchdown just 3 minutes into this one. John Tujak runs in for the score.
And there's exactly how St. James wanted to start this game. You know, they elect to receive so they can get the pressure on Kapaun early, and they do just that, capitalizing with the touchdown. The offensive line with an incredible drive there, giving Frankie pretty much all day back there to throw, and additionally allowing John to pick up good yardage in the run game so far.
Jack Bevitt on to kick the PAT now for the Thunder. Good snap and hold. That's been an issue a lot this year. It is good low kick there from Bevitt, but it goes through. So just 3 minutes in, St. James 7, Kapaun nothing. Today's first quarter is presented by Big Footworks, a proud partner of the SJA Crimson Club. That's exactly how St. James wanted to start on offense there. Now they need to have their defense come out and put together a nice stop to hopefully gain even more momentum than what they have right now.
Absolutely, and really, when you look at their recent games, their defense has been playing pretty well. You know, giving up 0 to Blue Valley North last week is obviously great. Blue Valley North isn't a great team, but still, giving up 0 is impressive. But then you go back, kind of a rough game against St. Pius, but then you look back a little farther, against Blue Valley only giving up 20 points, and 10 of those probably aren't even on the defense. There's been some really solid showings from this defense lately, but tonight is going to be, you know, in Coach Denton's scouting report, he says treat it like an Aquinas game with how similar these two teams' offense are. So really they're going to have to pack it in, focus on stopping that run tonight.
Yeah, and St. James, this is a team that lost 28-7 to Aquinas. The St. James team struggled a lot defensively in that game. They hope to fix some of those woes tonight. Jack Bevitt will be kicking off for the Thunder. Good boot. It's going to be caught at the end zone line there. Still on his feet. That was Jackson Daniel, the receiver for Kapaun. We're going to be calling his name a lot tonight on their completions. Again, we don't expect him to throw a lot. That's the guy they're going to be throwing to a lot. Now Kapaun will start in good field position at the 25-yard line.
Brogan Jaworski on the tackle that time for St. James.
You can already see how tight this formation is. They got a receiver at the top, everyone else packed in. They're going to give to the back. Nice room to run there.
The give is to Ken Huff.
That went to Huff there. Nice carry of about 7 or so on first.
And that's something that's definitely going to have to change as this game goes on. Giving up 7 yards on first down is not what you want to do against a run-heavy team.
There's that fullback dive to Purvis. Great blocking, and he's still on his feet, gliding forward to the 48.
Carl Purvis takes the hand.
We talked about earlier, Jonathan, off the air, but this is a team, their fullback dive is devastating. It really hurt St. James last year, and not a good start against that so far.
Absolutely not. And like we talked about, Cal Purvis, big back. We're going to be calling his name a lot tonight with these gives up the middle.
Back to Huff. Same play they ran on the first one. Jordan Boone in on the tackle. Still nice gain of about 4, making it a 2nd down and 6. You're seeing this Kapaun team, they're going with a little bit of pace here, which you normally don't associate with a run team that really wears down a defense.
Boone on the tackle.
Give to Purvis. And St. James blew it up. Great job by the D-line. They're going to be so critical today. I believe that was Andrew Moyer and Aiden Dreiling blowing that one up.
And like you said, Will, you don't normally expect this kind of tempo from a run-heavy team, but I think they just want to impose their will early on the Thunder and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do all night. We're going to do it fast, and we're going to do it better than your defense.
So now it's 3rd and about 5. This could be a run or a pass here. They're in the same set. They give to Huff, the running back. Tries to make Dreiling miss. He cannot. And on 3rd down, Aiden Dreiling, the big stop on the outside, and St. James playing with a lot of really good energy early on this first 5 minutes. Offense stays on the field, back in the I formation. Play action. Plenty of time. Moyer chasing him down. Still going. Did he get there? It is close. Dylan Burr was right at that line as Max Raquette hit him there. Let's see. They're going to motion him forward. It is a 1st down. What a big-time play by Dylan Burr, the quarterback, getting outside the pocket and running for a 1st down.
Yeah, he does a nice job of just improvising with his legs. You know, that downfield route, like you said, they were looking for number 1, Jackson Daniel, downfield. He was covered by Connor Scan. He just improvises, takes it himself.
Purvis only gets a couple. Max Raquette making the stop there for St. James.
He was wrapped up.
You see St. James in their 4-3 defense as opposed to their normal 4-2-5. Just getting that extra guy in the box. You're going to see Brady Boydston over there on that far side all the way walk down above the tight end, whereas normally he's in the secondary.
Looked like a full head of steam there for Huff before he got brought down at the 35. 3rd and short now, and that means it's almost for sure a run for Kapaun.
Absolutely. One of the keys for the St. James defense is going to be getting maybe some negative yardage plays or some 0 yardage plays on early downs so that you're forcing Kapaun into 3rd and longs where they maybe have to think about whether they're going run or pass.
Give to the backup Noah Schreck. Here he is, 1st down and then some inside the 30-yard line. And Kapaun, their run game working really, really well right now.
For sure, got to give credit to their O-line. They're looking really good so far. Their running backs are hitting those holes with big bursts of speed. They're allowing them to get upfield very well. These defensive linemen for the Thunder have got to stay disciplined in their gaps.
Dreiling blew it up. Purvis, or no, rather the quarterback had it. Pitch out to Sherrick. Does he get in? He does. They marked him down short. That looked like a touchdown there. What a play that was by Kapaun. And they're going to get right back on the ball and try to punch it in here.
I'm going to call it right now, fullback dive to Purvis.
We'll see if they go with it. That would probably be the best bet here. They bring in a 3rd guy, Maryland I formation here. They're going to give, and Purvis punches it in. Touchdown run, Cal Purvis. And I think both teams' offenses have to be really happy with where they are at after one drive.
For sure, you kind of called it. Well, you said this game has potential to be a shootout, and it's looking like it's definitely got potential to be that. 2 scores within just under 7 minutes. But Kapaun's offense looked really good that drive. They were able to get pretty much whatever they wanted in that run game. And even when they couldn't, they found ways to pick up rushing yardage through the pass game on designed pass runs. So we've seen how dangerous this run game is, and St. James is going to have to make a few adjustments in the drives coming.
PAT up and good. So 7 minutes in, score 7-7 here.
We're all knotted up 7-all.
Now St. James has to find a way to respond. The offense looked really good that first drive. Great drive by the O-line as well, doing a good job in the run and pass blocking game. That is something that's really important for a St. James O-line that has battled some injuries this year, has a little bit of a smaller group compared to other teams, but they've done a nice job so far tonight.
For sure, that first drive was about as solid as you could ask for from them. Gave Frankie lots of time in the pocket to find his receivers, is able to allow him to be patient back there, wait for some of his routes to develop, and then that run game we saw just a little bit on that first drive. Looked pretty good. So definitely they're going to have to continue that as this game goes on.
So it'll be Caden Cornwell back to kick for Kapaun. We saw last time he kicked it out of bounds, like I mentioned earlier. That's been a problem all year long for Kapaun. If he continues to do that, St. James is going to get great field position tonight. Jason Tujak back to return. A little bit of a pooch kick here. This is going to go out of bounds again, not even close. And this has to be frustrating if you're Kapaun. Not having a guy that can even get it to the end zone, much less keep the ball in bounds, has to be really frustrating as a Kapaun fan. So St. James starts again at the 35-yard line. They'll start on the near hash. It's the Kapaun team. They run a 3-4 defense. That means they've got 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and 2 middle linebackers. Creates a lot of confusion for an offense. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Tujak on the hip of Mangini. It's going to be a speed option. Pitch to Tujak. Only got a couple. We haven't seen St. James run that speed option very much this year. Didn't work very well on that one, and it's going to be second down and 8.
And like you said, Will, that 3-4 defense really can cause some problems for an offense because with only 3 down linemen, you're almost certainly going to have a blitzer to get that 4-man rush every time, and the offensive line is going to have to work out, where is this blitzer coming from? Do I need to pass off my guy to someone else to pick up the blitzer? And Mangini at the quarterback position is going to have to navigate which of these zones is now open because that blitzer is coming.
There's that free blitzer. He throws it up immediately. It's intercepted. Here goes Kapaun. They're bringing it back. St. James struggled with turnovers all year, and it bites them there. Owen Young with the pick. The 5'7" safety going up and bring that one down. And Kapaun will start their drive at the 40.
And it's not a bad idea there by Mangini. You know, you see Parker with seemingly one-on-one coverage over there on that far side against a 5'7" DB. I can't really fault Mangini for trying to throw it up and take advantage of that. Just unfortunately underthrows him a little bit, and a great play by Young to pick it off.
So now they're going to give to Kent to start the drive. Driven down after a gain of a few there.
He was tackled by Noah Horvath. Gain of 2, second and 8.
So now the defense is going to have to respond to that turnover. They don't have a lot of ground to give up here, only about 37 yards until the end zone, so they're going to have to make a stand here to try and not give up a touchdown.
Counter pitch to Kent. Got a few. Looked like maybe could have called a hold on the outside. They don't throw the flag, though, and it will be 3rd and short for Kapaun.
Here's one brought down by Ben Drury.
You see, we mentioned Cal Purvis a lot. The other guy we did not mention much, number 23, Ken Huff. He has looked really nice tonight at that running back position. They're going to give to him here. Brought him down short of the first down marker. Nice play made there. That was Andrew Moyer, the junior D tackle. Now that's going to set up a 4th and short situation.
And this is what St. James wants. They want to force Kapaun into these 4th down situations, but you've got to be able to get off the field on 4th down. You can't get to 4th down multiple times and then let them pick up the first. You've got to be able to make a stand right here. You see all those players St. James has in the box to try to defend the run.
Play action. Looking. Not close. So St. James will end Kapaun's drive right there. Today's trivia question is presented by your local NIL partner, Athletic Solutions. Our question today is the last time St. James played here at Kapaun in 2022, who kicked the game-winning field goal for St. James in the 31-29 victory? We'll have that answer later on in the game, but be thinking about that question. We talked about it a little bit. Kickers matter so much in this sport. Kapaun not having a great one, already biting them a little bit early.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you don't really realize how necessary it is until you've got a kicker that you don't trust to do a simple kickoff or to make a field goal when you need it most, you know?
Absolutely. St. James offense back out on the field, 3rd drive of the night. Tujak running, he's still going along the sideline. He steps out of bounds, and a late hit there goes uncalled. But what a nice run by John Tujak. That SGA first down is presented by Aquatic Wealth Management. Aquatic Wealth Management helps to fit all the pieces of the financial puzzle together. Schedule a free assessment today by texting Go Thunder to 913-402-6099. St. James, big first down there from John Tujak.
Absolutely. You're seeing the offensive line, again, creating a nice hole for Tujak to run through, and then just the speed and power from Tujak to get all the way upfield. And I will say, the sidelines on this field are a little bit tricky to see. They're not super defined, so maybe that's why there was a little bit of a late hit there.
Tujak sheds a blocker. Still keeps going. That was Puhala, rather. Nice run of about 5. You're seeing St. James leaning on this run game a lot more than they had earlier on this season with McGinney at quarterback now.
And I think that can be a good thing in a lot of ways, because if you're able to pick up that dependable yardage on the ground, that just allows your offense to be at ease. I know I already said this, but when you are confident you can get 4 or 5 yards on the ground, that kind of opens the playbook and gives you more chances to be aggressive.
Play action now. They're going to go. What a great pass that was to Neeson, and it's going to be a first down inside the 30. Beautiful pass there by Frankie McGee.
Absolutely, Will. Great pass there from McGinney. Guy coming right at him. He's able to keep his composure and deliver a dot to Neeson. And there it was again. You know, you saw, we talked about how Kapaun, with only their 3 down linemen, blitzes players. That time they brought 2. One of them came free, but Frankie was able to just hang in there, deliver a great throw to Neeson to move the sticks.
Minute 36 on the clock and counting. Tied up at 7 here. St. James is driving. Drop back. Protection. Good. Goes deep. Incomplete. Just a little off target on the deep shot there from Mangini. It's going to make it second down.
And there it is again, trying to hit Chase with that one-on-one coverage. And Young, I got to say, Young, even though he's undersized, 5'7", 145, he's held his ground against the bigger and stronger Chase so far. Obviously winning the matchup with 1 pick so far, but that's something that they're definitely going to continue to look for during this game. They see the mismatch over there. It's just they have to exploit it.
Running back Tujak flexed out. It's going to be the run from Mangini. Sheds a tackle. He's still going down at, looked like the 20-yard line, just short of the first down.
There's that QB draw game again that you know we're going to see a lot tonight. The offensive line has been blocking very well on these draws. Frankie's probably averaging about 6 yards a carry at this point, and you know that's going to be something we're going to continue to see as long as we can hold on to the ball when we do it.
So 2 receivers on both sides of the quarterback, Mangini. 3rd down and 3, critical play in the game here. Tried to get a man to jump. Looked like Mason Collins might have gotten close there, number 9. The outside linebacker, no call nonetheless. Tujak flexed. Rolling is Mangini. He's going to run for it. And did he get it? It's going to be very close. They're going to give him the first down. And a big-time run there by St. James Junior quarterback.
There's Mangini's legs again. Does a nice job getting outside the pocket. You see the hard count failed, so then you get the play call in. He does a nice job keeping his composure and picking up the first down.
Just 10 seconds left in this first quarter. Let's see if St. James runs a play. They are. Drop back. Looking, incomplete. He was going for Alec Jett, but Jude Porter was there to meet Jett in coverage. In just a moment for the second quarter.
Pass broken up by Jude.
The Spark Center is where students can come to help with learning, enrichment, collaboration. So say you're working on a problem or writing an essay and you get stuck in seminar and you're like, I just don't know what to do. You can ask your seminar teacher or study hall teacher. You can come on down during the day. We'll solve your problems and you can get right back to work so that you can be more efficient and have fun at home.
All right, so score tied at 7 here. St. James has the ball at the 16-yard line, 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. St. James now going left to right.
As they're competing in the 5A.
The sun has gone down, and it is fully nighttime out here. Wind has calmed down a little bit since the game started. We talked about before the game, 15-mile-an-hour gusts out here. It's calmed down a lot more, so I think, you know, the passing game, we feared maybe it was going to be put on hold for St. James because that's not really been the case so far, as you've seen with the solid passing effort from McGinney thus far. Now St. James has an opportunity to add more to the 7-7 game.
And I think it is going to be important that the Thunder offense is able to convert on almost all of their offensive drives just because of how good the Crusader offense looked last drive. I mean, they were able to run down the field almost effortlessly. And so I think it's going to be really important that St. James is able to try to remain ahead, try to stay one step ahead of Kapaun so that they can keep an advantage.
Neeson coming across the formation. They're going to fake the jet sweep. Mangini's going to run, tries to dance. It did not work. He has brought down Austin Howard, the outside linebacker, bringing him down there.
Austin Howard also in on the stop. Short loss on the play.
And again, this is what St. James wants to avoid, these 3rd and longs. Now they're behind the sticks to force a 3rd and 11. So you got to think probably a pass is coming here. And I will say, even though this Crusader secondary is undersized, I believe they have 3 players under 5'10". They've held their ground so far, multiple deflected passes and an interception. But you got to think that eventually one of these St. James receivers is going to spring open.
5 out, blitz, caught. Incomplete. He went for Tujak. Tujak had it in his hand for just a second, but Jackson Daniel, he starts both ways, and he made a big-time play there. And now the kick unit will come on for St. James. St. James wants to take the lead with the field goal attempt here.
Just a killer there. John had it right in his hands. Beautiful route right up the seam, right between that safety and that cornerback. Just hit him right in the hands, just unable to hold on. He did kind of get rocked right after he caught it.
So the kick is up. Bevitt had plenty of leg, and it is good. So St. James takes the lead once again. 10-7, St. James on top. That's a big-time kick from Jack Bevitt. Today's second quarter is presented by Trifecta Contracting, a single-source commercial glass contractor in the KC metro area. So St. James will be kicking off here. Daniel back to return once again. These are both teams changing classifications this season for the first time. St. James moving up to 5A. Kapaun will be moving to 4A this year. They'll certainly be one of the top contenders in that class, along with Miege, who obviously always is kind of a stalwart in the 4A, but Kapaun now looks to be another challenger for them. Both these teams obviously sights set on the playoffs, which is 2 weeks from today. Jack Bevitt going to kick it out the back of the end zone.
Kick into the end zone, touchback.
So Kapaun will start their drive at the 20-yard line.
Crusaders will take over first.
And we talked a little bit about it in our pregame show, and obviously every game in the season matters, but these last few matter even more for that playoff seeding because we believe right now St. James would be going to play Mill Valley if the season were to end. I believe maybe that's incorrect.
That's not good, guys.
Yeah, do not want to be playing Mill Valley. So a couple wins to end off the season here would really do wonders for the seeding.
It's going to be a straight run with Daniel in the Wildcat. The wide receiver jolts forward for 5.
Jackson Daniel with the direct snap.
There you see a little bit of creativity from a Kapaun offense that otherwise had been pretty vanilla.
Probably got jealous of our trick play to start the game off.
Exactly. It's going to be 2nd down and 4 now. They're going back to that same formation, running power to the right. Daniel still turning his feet. You can see the scrap there.
Daniel is the ball
They're going to give him the first down.
His gain is...
So 2 plays out of the Wildcat formation go for first down. This is a different sort of element to this Kapaun offense that they can use.
For sure, and I think they're trying to just manipulate those numbers because now you see, whereas Brady Boyston was previously pulled over a tight end, you see him out there in the flat and coverage. So now that's one extra guy that St. James doesn't have in the box. And look, they're running right to the side where he would be on.
Big hit there, brought down after a gain of a few. And you know St. James, as long as Kapaun's in that formation, they got to be wondering when's that pass going to come, because it's going to happen at some point, but you don't want to bite before it happens. And, you know, that has to be in the back of St. James' mind as well in that formation.
Agreed, and that's something we saw against Aquinas is they only threw the ball a few times, but it seemed like almost every time the secondary was caught off guard or maybe just a little out of position.
Give to the fullback. He has brought down linebackers finishing the play there. Now it's going to be third and medium. They exited the Wildcat formation there, gave to Keller. Purvis not in the game right now at fullback. It's Keller at fullback, Huff the running back. Third down and 3. We're 2.5 minutes into the second quarter here. They're going to give to Huff. Nothing there. St. James D-line blows it up. That was Jack Bevitt making a big stop for St. James, forcing the punt unit to come on for Kapaun.
And look at that, Jack Bevitt, one of my Shields X factors for the game. Like I said, those linebackers going to be extra important in stopping these kind of up-the-gut runs that Kapaun loves to do. And Jack Bevitt does a great job there meeting him in the backfield, but more importantly, just getting him down at the point of contact, not just slowing him down in the backfield and then allowing him to pick up that first down, but getting him down right away.
So Kapaun will be punting. Noah Hornback, the returner for St. James. I believe that is Daniel back to punt. Good snap, nice punt by Daniel. It's going to be caught by Hornback at the 30, and he is brought down. Caden Cornwell makes the stop. Now let's go back to our trivia question we asked earlier. The answer to today's athletic solutions trivia question is Kyler Harhus for that game-winning kick last time St. James came down here. You obviously hope St. James has more of a lead this time, but you know,
a win's
Jack
a win.
Bevitt, yep, we'll take whatever we can get. Jack Bevitt, certainly a guy the staff relies on if St. James needed another game-winning kick of their own tonight back in Kapaun. The offense back on the field now. Drop back. Plenty of time. Flushed. Finds the receiver there. That was Bruggeman along the sideline. He's brought out inside Crusaders territory. Noah Schreck brings him down. In St. James, you're seeing McGinney use some receivers we haven't seen as much this year, trying to get them involved, and it's worked so far.
For sure, and he's done a really nice job of just hanging back there in the pocket and finding these areas, because it seems early on that this Kapaun defense, you know, after they get past that first and second, when that blitzer comes and gets picked up, their zone discipline is not great, and these receivers have been able to find open areas on the field, and McGinney's done a great job of stepping up in the pocket or flushing out and hitting them.
Yeah, it certainly feels like St. James has wanted to attack the secondary today. They're doing so with some success. Bruggeman, the man in motion. It's going to be a screen pass on the outside. I believe that's Wonder. Darts forward for a few.
Pass to Neeson.
That was Neeson, rather. Minimal gain, still 3, maybe 4.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
And again, just I'm going to give some more credit to the offensive line. They've done a pretty nice job so far with this blitz pickup. You know, like I said, this 3-4 front, you've got a blitzer coming from who knows where pretty much every time. It's going to be one of those 4 linebackers, whether it be off the edge or up the middle. And so they've done a nice job so far communicating and allowing some of these routes to develop, allowing the run game to kind of get going.
Bruggeman in motion. Give to Tujak. Wide run here, moves forward, falls forward, first down, ball's out. Chase recovers it, even if there was a fumble there. That St. James first down is presented by Freedom Physical Therapy, a partner in working to form the whole person for St. James. Now they will have the ball at the 33.
Another great run there from Tujak. You know, just offensive line does a great job clearing him a gap on that right side for that little zone run. Tujak does a nice job of hitting it with a burst of speed, getting all the way upfield. Offensive line also able to get up to that second level to take out those linebackers, and that's really where they do their damage.
Drop back, quick pass, Neeson. Moving along the sideline, brought down finally. That's Schreck again on the outside. You're seeing a couple quick ones to Sam Neeson. St. James trying to get their senior playmaker involved this drive.
And that's never a bad thing, right? Trying to get the ball to Sam Neeson in space. As we saw last week, one of the hardest guys, it seems, in the EKL to bring down. I just remember him breaking multiple tackles on almost every time he got the ball last week. So definitely want to see him getting the ball more in space, get him going early, because that's just another person that Kapaun has to worry about.
4-receiver set, rolling to his left. Blitz pickup was there, intended for Bruggeman, incomplete. You mentioned it earlier, Jonathan. This is a complex used for both soccer and football, and you can kind of tell when looking at the boundaries. It's very difficult, I think, to tell where the sideline begins, where the end zones are, all these different things. And I think you kind of see it on a play like that. That's where it really factors in. As McGeaney was just a little off target to Bruggeman there. Agreed.
It is a little strange. I mean, the sidelines of the end zone are black, and so is the goal line. They're not even white. And the normal field is white, but it's more gray because of how faded it is. And just looking at the field earlier, I was confused myself as to where the actual yard lines were. So hopefully the players can get it figured out, because
yeah, it's certainly difficult to deal with. What a stop there for Kapaun on second down. That was a big play. Cal Purvis, we mentioned him at fullback that time, hammering Tujak for a loss of 3. Now St. James in a situation they don't want to be in, 3rd and long. They've struggled there all year long, as most offenses do. They need to find a way to get at least back into a more manageable field goal range. Obviously, you want the first down as well.
Absolutely, or even potentially if you get into maybe a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 situation, you decide you want to go for it.
Drop back, great blitz pickup, goes to Neeson. That was sailed way over his head. Owen Young in coverage. Taking it back out again. St. James needs to take a little bit better advantage of these last couple of drives, punch in some touchdowns, but they're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt again.
And there's Mangini going after Young again, and coverage just maybe looked like him and Sam weren't really on the same page with how deep he was going to run that post. Trekkie thought he was going to push it more towards the back of the end zone, and Sam bent it in a little more. So unfortunate that they were unable to convert. And now Jack Bevitt on for about a 43, 44-yard field goal. Should be well within his range, but
yeah, we'll see. High school kicking obviously difficult.
Yeah, I jinxed him.
You sure did. You should not have said anything, because that was certainly not Bevitt's best attempt there. So the Crusaders will pick up from there. St. James is without the guy that started the season at place kicker, Ben Johnson. He is hurt right now, so Jack Bevitt is kicking. He has a guy that has had plenty of varsity experience, a guy this team is comfortable with. Obviously, you've seen them go to him twice already today, but just a little off on that one. Now Kapaun has a chance to add some points of their own to the board.
And we've seen him make 50-yard field goals in warm-ups as well, so we know he's capable. Just whiffed on that one a little bit.
.542 is left in the first half here. 10-7, Kapaun on top, or rather St. James on top here. It's going to be keep on the option. Burr dives up to the 29, just short of a first down. You see, it's different from how Aquinas likes to run. They don't run the triple option very much, actually. It's a lot of, more designed plays where you're going to give to the fullback, or you're going to pitch to running back. This Kapaun team, they run a little more options, give the quarterback a little more decisions, and St. James blows it up. 2nd and 1, they tried to go halfback dive. It did not work. Aiden Dreiling in on the stop.
I've been pretty impressed with the St. James defensive line so far in this game. Obviously, gave up a touchdown on the first drive, but after that, they've been very solid. I believe they've forced 1 turnover on downs and a punt based on how physical they've been up front. I talk a lot about how the team that controls the line of scrimmage is going to have the advantage, and St. James is looking good in that category so far.
Nice run by the back there. What a great play. Ken Huff moving forward for the first down. No, that was Shrek, rather, the backup. Looks a little hobbled coming up. Shrek's the guy they want healthy, playing offense and defense. They're keeping him out there, though. Now back to the tempo. Quick give to Purvis. Gets off the first tackle. Boone and others bring him down.
Give it to Purvis.
4.5 minutes remain here. This is where you have to wonder about the clock a little bit. Kapaun probably wants to try to get this clock down as much as they can. Second and 7 at the 40. Keep Burr running, gets 5.
On the option.
Good choice there on the option read. Now it's 3rd and 2.
I think it's been interesting to see Kapaun, how they've kind of moved in and out of their formations. You know, right now they have 2 receivers to the near side of your screen, but at times they've gone with 1. They've gone with, 2 or 3 players in the backfield. Now they only have 2, or maybe an extra tight end in there. It's just been interesting to see how they've tried to manipulate the Thunder defense by changing their own formation and how St. James has responded to that.
That is going to be very close. Jack Bevitt, a great stop of Kent Huff there. And they're going to call it 4th down. So 4th and 1 here, critical play. Both sides have an opportunity to really make a big impact on the game here. You can tell both teams understand the ramifications of this one. 2 receivers to the left, I formation, QB sneak, and I think that definitely was a false start on Kapaun there. That's going to move him back 5.
Ball start, offense, 71, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's Max Worrell, the sophomore O-lineman.
That's a costly penalty for Kapaun because now the punt team's going to have to come out.
4th and 6.
And this is very unrelated, but that referee mic was probably the best high school referee mic that I've ever heard. It was very clear. You could hear it nice and loud. Didn't have to guess what he was saying.
I would have to agree with you, and credit to the ref, too, being very concise, very clear. It feels like we're kind of in a college game because of how good that is. And I think they regret punting that ball because that punted it to the line of scrimmage. St. James thought about bring it back. Hornback got ahead of steam. If the punter didn't get over there, they could have had it. For some reason, Kapaun thinks they can return it. That's not how punts work, but St. James is going to start at the 35 now on offense.
Man, brutal punt. Pretty sure it went backwards.
That is the equivalent of the Jack Bevitt field goal attempt we just saw for punting right there. That was not what Kapaun wanted. I mean, he kicked it right back to the line of scrimmage, and then the bounce actually brought him back. So punt for negative yards, believe it or not, for Kapaun. Now 2:37 left in the half. St. James wants to add 7 more to the scoreboard.
I feel like they've just got to capitalize here after those 2 crucial mistakes, that false start, and then that rather horrid punt from Kapaun. St. James got to find a way to capitalize here with 2.5 minutes left.
They're going to give to the back to Jack. Tries to make a guy miss, gets up to the 30, gain of 4. Looks like a Kapaun player is down.
Yeah, that's number 1, Jackson Daniel. He got absolutely hammered by Brock McKenzie coming over from, I believe, that left guard position. He looks like he is hurt.
Definitely not what you want to see. Daniel's a guy we've seen kind of all over the place tonight. We saw him at Wildcat, quarterbacking, a couple runs there. We've seen him at receiver, obviously cornerback as well, and he was the guy that actually just had that not-so-great punt for Kapaun. Obviously unfortunate to see him down there. As far as the game goes right now, 2:25 is on the clock. St. James will have a 2nd and 6 when we come back here. Ball at the 30-yard line, so plenty of time for St. James to add some points of their own onto the board. I think that first play kind of re-emphasizes St. James' commitment to the run game early on in this first half.
Absolutely, and it's looked good tonight. John has been able to get up to that 2nd level pretty easily. Credit to the Thunder offensive line for really doing a nice job clearing the way for him. We've seen multiple runs of 10-plus yards, and that's something that the Thunder offense somewhat lacked towards the beginning of the season. I think back to the Miege game where we scored a lot of points, but it was almost all through the air. And then even after that, most of the offense came in the passing game. So it's good to see that rushing game get going. And another thing to remember is Kapaun gets the second half kickoff. So that's just another reason that St. James wants to come away with points here so that they can be up 2 scores before Kapaun gets a chance to get the ball back.
Yeah, during this break, we'd like to shout out Lee Schulte, Joseph's mom. Joseph works behind the scenes for us, always does great work here. I'd like to give her a shout out during this break. Daniel is still down, unfortunately, for the Crusaders. The 5'11", 165 senior be attended to by the training staff now here at Stryker Sports Complex. He is back on his feet. You can hear the applause from the crowd. Decent showing by St. James tonight on the fan side of things. Obviously a difficult game to attend, being 2.5 hours away on a school night for the Thunder, but love to see the commitment of the parents and students coming out and supporting the boys tonight. So St. James will pick back up at the 30, 2nd down and 6. Daniel, one of the leaders of the defense, just taken off a moment ago with an injury for Kapaun. It's going to be play action. Looking, has Chase, quick out route, works. Chase being spun around. Cole Rapp made the initial contact there. Just Austin Howard finished it off. But St. James, plenty of room to get the first down on that one.
And there's the composure again from McGee. Just stands in there, even though there's a little bit of pressure coming at him, able to find Chase for that nice little medium pass game that we've seen work so well for the Thunder this season. That kind of 5 to 12 yard little zone area has really kind of been the Thunder bread and butter this season, just getting the ball to their playmakers in that space and letting them go make a play.
Yeah, it's clearly an area that St. James feels like they can exploit some of these Kapaun zones, that short out route. We've seen him go to it a couple of times. Bruggeman in motion. They're going to flow to the left. He's going to looking, has Chase. Will he get in? He will not, just short, and the flag comes out late, probably on the St. James O-line. That is a killer if it is on St. James after a great play from Ngini to Chase. And St. James is backing up.
Yeah, that really is a killer, especially because the flag came in.
60 offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's going to be Carter Jasperson, one of the senior O-linemen for St. James, one of the best O-linemen this team has. Playing at that guard position, right guard tonight. Just a little bit too far downfield. That's going to back St. James up 5. It's going to be a 1st and 15. Ball's at the 27. We are under 2 minutes now in the quarter. St. James has all their timeouts. Mangini evades. Great block on the outside by Jet. He gets half the yardage needed for the first as he goes out of bounds on the far sideline.
Great job getting right out of that pocket by McGeady. We saw the blitzer come from that linebacker position. He was not picked up by any St. James offensive lineman, but Frankie does a nice job escaping right away, recognizes that I'm not going to have time to get this throw off, gets out, does a nice job picking up that penalty yardage and a little bit more.
Yeah, it looked like an RPO almost, and then Mangini saw the run wasn't there. For the running back, the pass wasn't there, so he kept it himself in a nice gain. It's going to be 2nd and 8. Blitz comes. He's got time. What a catch by Wonder. That one, an absolute dart from Mangini. It is caught for a first down, and St. James now inside the 15.
Cole Rapp on the tackle.
And there it is again. Frankie just kind of getting out of the pocket a little bit, waiting for the routes to develop, waiting for Kapaun, frankly, to just leave a wide receiver open, and just does a nice job finding Wonder there in that little pocket that Kapaun is exposed.
2 receivers on both sides of the quarterback. Mangini drops back, clean pocket. Blitz comes late, and he threw it right at the Kapaun safety. I mean, that went right to Cole Rapp, and I think he was almost surprised it went to him, so he couldn't bring it in. And you know, Kapaun Mount Carmel really wishes they had that one back.
For sure, lucky break from Mangini there and the whole Thunder offense as well. Still got 1:10 here from the 11-yard line. So you've got time to score here. The clock really isn't an issue. It's just what plays are you going to dial up to punch the ball into the end zone. You want to take advantage of the field position that you had here and come away with 7. We'll just have to see whether they can execute in the red zone.
Yeah, I think if you're St. James, 7's must here, right? You have to get your touchdown. You have to go up 2 scores here because you have just played much better than this Kapaun team. You can't only be up 1 score heading into half with how well they have played. 3 on the right, 1 on the left. Blitz comes. Mangini evading, tries to stiff arm a backer. He does so with some level of success. Moves forward, gets maybe 6.
Was brought down by Austin Howard.
Now it's going to be 3rd and 5 at the 6. We're at 50 seconds left in the quarter. St. James probably doesn't have to use any timeouts. Their first down line to gain is the 1-yard line right now.
I think you probably try to take a shot at the end zone here. Maybe just try to get close. And if you have to, maybe run it on 4th and 1 if you get the chance.
It's going to be a flag now we'll send it down to the ref. Let's see what the call is here.
False start, 60 off bets, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that's Carter Jasperson again, number 60, the right guard, his second penalty of the drive. He's probably the least penalized lineman St. James has had all year, but gets 2 on this drive, unfortunately. And that changes things a little bit. 3rd and 6 from the 7 versus 3rd and 11 from the 12 rather, changes the math a lot. Clock is still running, so now that's something you have to keep in mind now. 20 seconds and counting. You just got to make sure you have enough time to snap it and get a field goal off. If you miss the play here, drops back, blitz, over the middle, Chase, touchdown, St. James. What a beautiful drive and a beautiful play to Parker Chase. Over the middle, the senior receiver brings it in for 6.
Beautiful throw by McGeaney, and again, there's Parker in that 8 to 10 yard range right over the middle of the field. He's able to haul it in. Great throw by McGeaney to find him wide open over the middle of the field. Great route from Chase as well to find that spot in the Kapaun zone that there's no one. And they're able to take advantage of the field position and punch it in for 7. Extra point is good. And going up 2 scores before half is huge, especially with Kapaun getting that second half kickoff.
Yeah, that was tonight's play of the game. Tonight's play of the game presented by Leavenworth Orland Midwest Maxillofacial Surgery, a proud supporter of the SJA Crimson Club. That 12-yard touchdown pass to Parker Chase, tonight's play of the game, putting St. James up 10 moments before the first half ends. Jack Bevitt will be back to kick. Daniel was the returner. He is hurt, so now it's going to be Ken Huff, the sophomore tailback, returning for Kapaun Mount Carmel.
Ken Huff back deep for Kapaun.
That drive could not have really gone better if you're St. James, taking all the time off the clock and getting 7 points on the board. Like you mentioned earlier, Kapaun will get the ball to start the next half, so even if they don't get anything here, that will be good for them as the kick goes out the back of the end zone. They'll pick up with 8 seconds. This is not an offense designed for the deep pass, so we'll see. Maybe they try to run it once, see if they can get a big play, or they might just kneel and go to half. They're going to go back to that I formation. Let's see. Look for them to give it to Huff, the tailback here, probably more likely to get the explosive play. It's going to be a crack back toss there. Not much doing for Kapaun, and we'll head into half. So St. James feeling good. St. James up 17-7 on Kapaun as we head into halftime. Remember to tune in for our halftime show and the rest of the game here on the Thunder Broadcasting Network.
Congratulations to Reese Messer for being named one of 24 players in the country listed on the 2024 AVCA Girls High School National Player of the Year watch list. 4 National Players of the Year finalists will be announced on November 18th when the 2024 AVCA Girls High School All-American teams will also be revealed. Reese is committed to play volleyball at USC next year. We all couldn't be prouder. Way to go, Reese.
From Thunder Studios in Lenexa, Kansas, this is TBN Pulse.
Hello Thunders, I'm Lorelei Fernholz. In this episode of TBN Pulse, James Bickelmeyer has some girls golf team excitement as they get ready for state next week. Emma Whitener shows how St. Peter's community celebrated homecoming spirit, and Elena Vondam-Camp shares some dance team hype. This is TBN Pulse.
Across wild, wild
Good luck to girls golf at state in Salina. St. Peter's community is currently in first place in the Thunder Cup standings, coming off of a nice silver medal and hallway decorations. Here's how they got hyped for homecoming.
My name is Greg Baumhoff. I am a science teacher at St. James Academy High School. I really enjoy listening to the creativity of all of the community captains, number one, then the house captains, and getting a chance to watch them brainstorm and really come up with these cool ideas is really a lot of fun.
We meet up at meetings, we plan ideas, I tell my house what to bring, I help formulate plans, make everything come together and look good.
We also plan to do things outside of school, so we'll create a lot of our things before hallway decks actually happen, so we're more organized for the day. There is so much participation, and even just the artwork in the skit was so beautiful.
Nice work, St. Peter. Lastly, let's go to the spirit team and see how dance hypes up Thunder.
You know the crowd is ready. Woo-wee. Get ready. You know the crowd is. You know the crowd is. You know the crowd is ready. Woo! Woo! I think they're ready for more. Let's settle it. Look at the life that we relish. I'm telling it. I'm the star of the show and the regiment. Can't stop me, bro. Ain't no pedaling. Ain't no riding the wave. Staring right in your face, you know where I'm getting it. This ain't back in the days. Get ready for more and more. Ain't no meddling, no. Gotta know what my head is for sure. I had a show when I was young. I had my back on the ropes, looking like I never had her on roll. In school of hard knocks, I get hard drops, but drive even when the car stops. I don't lost it if they let me. Ain't no get ready when you stay ready. Let's go. You know the crowd is ready. Get loud and ready. It's time to settle the score. Get loud and ready. No asking for more. Get loud and ready. It's time to settle the score. Get loud and ready. Get loud and ready.
Thanks to all the students in the SJA Media Arts program for making these segments, and thanks to you for watching TBN Pulse. God bless you. Go Thunder!
All right, we'd like to welcome you back to TPN here. St. James 17, Kapaun 7. Really good first half for the Thunder. They got a touchdown drive to start and to end the half, both in a field goal in between. Kapaun got a touchdown on their first drive of the half, and since then they have gone dormant. The St. James defense put together a very nice performance on that side of the ball. That first drive of the game, a beautiful drive for St. James, ending in the touchdown run by John Tujak. That's going to be our drive of the game. Today's drive of the game is presented by Luxury and Imports. Find your drive today at Luxury and Imports. So St. James had really good success the last three halves. Jonathan, what can you kind of attribute that success to for the St. James team?
I think it's been the play of their line, especially the defensive line in particular. I know I often harp on that offensive line, but I think the defensive line has really had a stellar game so far. The first drive, they were a little bit shaky, but really since then, they've kind of stonewalled this Kapaun running attack. We haven't seen them rush very well at all. Multiple punts, a turnover on down, because they're, like we talked about, 85% run, give or take. And when they're unable to run and get 3-4 yards to carry, when they're stuck getting 1 or 2, that offense doesn't work. And like you said, they're not really built for that deep pass game. Now, I don't doubt that they can do it if the time comes. but it's not what they're comfortable with. And if St. James is able to force Kapaun into running an uncomfortable offense for the entire second half, that's going to swing the pendulum in St. James's favor. And then obviously the offensive line has played a great game so far, kind of building on the success we saw last week against the Blue Valley North Mustangs. They've given Frankie great time in the pocket to sit back there and find his open receivers that have done a great job finding those soft spots in the zone. And then the run game has looked very good. It's looked like pretty much a continuance of last week, almost like you just turned the page in the book and you're reading again. So I've loved what I've seen from both lines on both sides of the ball from the Thunder.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the O-line play doing a great job of setting up other guys for success. St. James had some games this year where maybe the O-line has done their job, but for whatever reason, the running or passing game still isn't working. But credit to John Tujak and Frankie McGeeney in the run game, and then obviously McGeeney, the quarterback, and all his receivers. They're doing a great job of taking advantage of the time the O-line is giving them in the pass game and the holes that they're giving Tujak and McGeeney to run through in the run game. They have been really good so far. Like you said, again, our score here at Wichita, 17 St. James, 7 Kapaun rather. We will be back in just a few moments on the Thunder Broadcasting Network after a word from some sponsors.
Okay, so right now the St. Joseph Fieldhouse, which we've called the multi-purpose building, our auxiliary gym, is open. Construction is complete there. We're finishing some landscaping, but it's being used already for practices and some games. And I think there's actually volleyball in there this weekend. So it is up and running and is great. We finished the initial parking in the back, which will allow all, or most I should say, of the faculty and staff to park in the back starting next week, which will make the sophomores happy because they're going to get their lot back. And tennis courts are coming right behind it. So if you go back and see the big expanse of concrete with all the posts sticking up, that's tennis. So it's going to finish curing for about a month, and then it'll get finished up hopefully still later this fall. And then they finished all the infrastructure work on the stadium. So you've seen lots of bulldozers back there and everything. We had to put all the utilities in, and those are about done. So they're finishing all that work, and the concrete should start coming for what will be needed for concessions and bathrooms and all those things. So everything's well underway, and I think the target right now is that it will be done in time for spring sports. So hopefully in March, the stadium part will be done. And then you may have seen the Cultural Arts Center sign up front that we put up, and we're working really intensely on architectural plans. It's a much more complicated project than throwing up a press box and bleachers or tennis courts or even parking lot for that matter, right? So it'll take probably 10 to 12 months to do the architectural plans, but the hope is a year from now we've got shovels in the ground up front too.
The Spark Center is where students can come to help with learning, enrichment, collaboration. So say you're working on a problem or writing an essay and you get stuck in seminar and you're like, I just don't know what to do. You can ask your seminar teacher or study hall teacher. You can come on down during the day. We'll solve your problems and you can get right back to work so that you can be more efficient and have fun at home.
We opened the doors to St. James Academy in August of 2005 with an established mission of passing on the Catholic faith to the next generation while creating disciples for Jesus. 18 years later, that mission has remained the foundation of all we do at St. James Academy. With that foundation, St. James Academy has grown into a leader in Catholic education through excellent academics, premier arts, athletics and activities, and a culture that thrives through our community system and formation of young people. In the spring of 2020, the St. James Academy Board of Trustees and Administration began the process of creating a 3-year strategic plan. It quickly became apparent that facility needs on our campus were a priority, and the need to complete a campus-wide master plan was key to our future. This master plan created a roadmap for St. James. Today, we are sharing preliminary project plans with you, focusing on those that are a priority to our community. Our future is bright, and we are excited to share more. The performing arts play an essential role in the development of students. Music, dance, and theater foster creativity, confidence, and discipline. As our student body has grown, more students are participating in the arts, adding to the richness and vibrancy of St. James. The areas where we can improve are more evident than ever. Our dining hall is transformed each fall to build a stage for the musical, with a makeshift orchestra pit in the gathering space. Our choir concerts also take place in this space, utilizing acoustical shells to enhance the sound quality as best we can. For our band concerts, we frequently rent spaces off campus to allow for enough space on the stage for all band members. The Cultural Event Center will provide a dedicated, acoustically sound space for rehearsals and performances for up to 550 guests, with the supporting spaces our students need to improve their skills and to showcase their talents. A lobby will serve as a pre-theater gathering space and a flexible space to be used for all staff meetings and other needs. Additionally, our goal is to also move our art classrooms into this area of the campus to better highlight the arts projects created by our students. At St. James, football is not only a successful program, but also a way for our young men to build character, perseverance, and teamwork, all values that will benefit them throughout their lives. Despite its popularity, hosting varsity football games is currently impossible due to seating capacity of only 300. As a result, we primarily host these games at Bishop Miege. While we can accommodate most soccer matches, JV and freshman football and other sports with smaller attendance, seating for visitors is limited, and we must rely on the existing bathroom facilities in our science wing for events. The plan for completing the stadium includes seating for 2,500 on the home side, which is the west side of Clare Road, and bleachers for 1,000 visitors on the east side. The proposed press box will accommodate scorekeepers, broadcasting, and coaches. Locker rooms for both teams, a training room, and officials' restrooms will be located at the north end of the field, with a ticketing window attached on the west end of the building. Plans are being developed for a crucifix and other expressions of Catholic identity, including a grotto, around this area of campus to be certain our mission is present both off and on the field. Our tennis programs are flourishing, but we face a challenge in finding suitable practice and game courts in the metro area, as many of them are being converted to pickleball. Our vision is to build 8 tennis courts on our campus, with the option to add lights for evening play as phase 2. New courts will allow us to not only practice on campus, but the opportunity to host tournaments. This will certainly enable our tennis program to continue to grow. The City of Lenexa will require approximately 400 additional parking spots with the stadium expansion project to meet the city's requirement. Additionally, as we add to our campus, we will need to mitigate water runoff, primarily on the south side of our campus. Our debt is now less than $2 million, and based on the current monthly repayment plan, it can be fully paid off in nearly 6 years. This debt was incurred for the construction of the school and necessary renovations as the school expanded in the early years. Achieving financial stabilization will allow us to move forward with future capital projects more easily in the years to come. If we want to pass on the Catholic faith to the next generation, we have to do it together. We want to intentionally engage parents as the first forerunners of their children. We want to provide the facilities and programming that allow students to know the truth, choose good, and live virtuously in the service of others in ways we've never been able to before. We want to create new avenues for the amazing teachers in this building to connect with their students, partner with parents, and share their expertise and passion. The future at St. James is bright. We look forward to meeting that future together.
Are you ready?
Okay, now.
Are you ready?
This broadcast is a product of St. James Academy. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the pictures and accounts of this Thunder Broadcasting Network production without the express written consent of St. James Academy is prohibited.
All right, we would like to welcome you back to Wichita, Kansas here. St. James up 17-7, up 10 points on Kapaun Mount Carmel. Today's third quarter is brought to you by Aaron Barrett's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. St. James will be kicking off at the 40-yard line here, kicking from left to right. Kapaun needs to get back to what was working that first drive, running the football. St. James has had better success stopping it as of the last few drives. But Kapaun wants to get back to the dominance they showed in that first drive that resulted in the touchdown. It looks like Jackson Daniel is back to return. He is one of those big-time players for Kapaun, kind of a do-everything guy. He is back to return, so good to see him healthy for Kapaun. Jack Bevitt will be back to kick off now for St. James. This one going to go out the end zone. Daniel really wanted to return it, but chose not to.
KMC will take over.
Now Kapaun starts at the 20-yard line. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kapaun go a little faster here. We saw them have a little bit more success when they tried to go a little bit faster and catch St. James on their toes rather, and they've struggled a little more when they've taken their time. You see them going fast already. They're going to give big hole for the running back. He got tripped up, and that was Boydston making the stop there against Ken Huff.
And you call it exactly right, Will. They hit the Thunder with a little bit of pace, and that is what we saw them go with on that first drive of the game where they were able to go down and get a touchdown. They went fast, and so I think you're right that we're going to see a little bit more of that.
Give to Huff. Bullies forward for a few. You're seeing it's a different sort of tempo, right? They're going a little bit more of a sugar huddle, which is where you're going to huddle like a normal drive, and then you're going to go super fast up to the line and then run your play rather than maybe just go get on the line, wait for whatever the quarterback's play call is, and then go. You see him hurrying to the line. They give to Purvis, the fullback. He is brought backwards. You talked about the linebackers being important. Well, Jack Bevitt has had a great game tonight for St. James, making another key stop in the run game.
He really has. He's been everywhere for this Thunder defense, in the backfield, at the line of scrimmage, making tackles, holding big 6'3", 215 Cal Purvis to 0 yards on that run. And you love to see it. And I think another reason that Kapaun's going with all this hurry up is Brady Boydston, one of the strong safeties for the Thunder, has to wait until he sees the formation before he picks the side of the field. And so now you see him them snap the ball before he's even in position.
Let's see, looks like he got the first down there for Kapaun. So already Kapaun was at risk on that first set of downs of giving it back to St. James, but they avoid that and get the first.
First and 10 at the 31, gain of 3 on the play.
Burr, option, pitch. Shrek, the back, moves forward along the sideline, gets 6 or so. Drury and Hornback, the safeties tonight for St. James, bringing them out.
Pushed out of bounds by Drury.
And you know, it looks like Kapaun has been having a little bit more success outside in this game so far. You've seen up the middle is not working so well as Aiden Drawing there. Big tackle along with Jack Bevitt.
Those two have been magnificent for St. James in the run defense tonight. It's going to make it 3rd and short now.
But as I was saying, Kapaun's had some success running outside, kind of trying to get towards those corners and safeties that aren't as big and strong.
Hard count almost works there from the quarterback, Dylan Burr, number 15. He's one of the seniors on this Kapaun team. They're a pretty young team overall. They're going to run the option again. That was not pretty, and you see a big-time stop there. Boydston on the stop. Coach Radke loved that big play from the defense, and Kapaun got nothing there.
Looked like Burr just couldn't figure out what he wanted to do there. Had the ball right in the gut of the fullback Purvis and just didn't pull it, didn't give it to him either. They just kind of went down together. St. James does a great job of blowing up all those gaps and forcing Kapaun to another 4th down. See if they can get off the field this time.
Give the back first. Looked like he got there.
Hand off to Noah Schreck.
Schreck got the first, so they're having to use all 4 downs right now, which is good for a St. James team that's up 10. But Kapaun, they're still getting these first downs, even if it's taking everything they got.
Yeah, but almost 3.5 minutes off the clock already, and they've moved, what, 20 yards, 22 yards?
Not very far.
Yeah, not very far, so that's definitely playing to St. James's advantage.
Love the play design there, and it does not work.
Dylan Burr on the
Boone makes the stop. That's a play, you know, if you have a guy like I think one of St. James's quarterbacks running that play that can get to the edge before the outside linebacker, that's a play that works really well, but Burr just not able to hit the corner fast enough, and credit to Boone for making a big-time play there. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Give. He's got a head of steam. Gets 7 against Drury. That was Schreck. Schreck, we've seen him go with him a little more than Ken Huff, the starting tailback tonight, or this drive rather. Now it's 3rd and short for Kapaun. Already 4+ minutes off the clock. I think he got it by just a yard, and that's been the story of this drive. Just barely getting what they need to get the first down.
It really has. You know, it seems like every time they've needed to convert, their running back gets about half a yard past the sticks and then gets forced back. But that forward progress does give him the first down. And now we're seeing Kapaun kind of slow it down. I think they maybe saw, hey, this tempo isn't working like we thought it. And now they're back to that 2 wide receiver set, trying to spread St. James out, maybe looking for something, a bigger advantage up the middle, maybe trying to incorporate a pass here.
Flag is going to be thrown.
Play.
More to that point about the lack of yards gained, we'll talk about in a second here.
Penalty.
There goes the ref mic you complimented earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Disappears there, but you know, they got only 3 yards more than the total needed to get first downs. They were through 3 sets of downs. They went from the 20 to the other team's 47. So that's 33 yards for 3 sets of downs. That's pretty close to as little as you can get. Now it's going to be shotgun first time. They're looking for deep. What a beautiful pass by Burr. It went out of bounds. But that was a pretty ball, even if it wasn't close to a receiver.
Yeah, the ball looked good through the air, just landed all the way out of bounds. Not even close to being able to catch that was Keller. But great coverage over there on that near side by Scahan, as well as Hornbeck as the safety over the top, giving some assistance. And that's likely why Burr felt he had to throw it so far left and out of bounds, because he saw Hornbeck coming from the middle of the field. He didn't want to just hang one up there for him to go get, so he had to try to put it close to the sideline.
Yeah, you got to be mindful of a guy like Hornbeck, always looking to make a play at the safety position. They're going to give to number 1. That's Daniel. Oh, what a great play. The end around worked well. Jackson Daniel, we've seen him line up all over the place tonight. He got 8 on that carry.
So now St. James forced Kapaun to a 3rd and 7. This is kind of where you want to be, 3rd and semi-long. You've got to try to force maybe a 2-3 yard pickup here to make them really think about whether they want to go for it on 4th, because it's 3rd and 6. You hold them to 2 yards. That's 4th and 4. Is that a running down? Is that a passing down? You know, Kapaun just got to think about it.
They're going to give back to Schreck. Bursts forward. It is right at the line. They're going to call him short. Hard to tell from up here, but looked like it probably was the right call. Now it's 4th and 1. Kapaun, you've been on the field this entire half. That's been over 6 minutes. You cannot walk away without getting any points.
And I think the St. James defense is getting a little worn down. We're seeing the yards per carry increase every time from Kapaun.
And the first, once again, that Shrek. You can tell that attrition is setting in. I think you talked about, the tempo they've gone away from a little bit as the drive's gone on. I think Kapaun's the team that's feeling a little bit of attrition right now as well. Both teams, being on the field this long, this has to be tiring for both teams, especially teams that don't sub very much like neither of these teams. It's going to be back to that reverse counter option.
He's not going
Nothing
anywhere.
There. He tripped, but man, if he didn't trip, that still wasn't going to be pretty for Kapaun. It's a big-time loss. You see Kapaun, they're trying to be a little more creative in the run game, but I think both teams kind of know right now, this Kapaun team, they're running the ball pretty much every single time. And St. James, beautiful job there.
For sure, and there it was again, trying to get to that edge where they've had a little bit more success. We saw the jet sweep a few plays earlier that they picked up a good chunk on, but again, Hank Schreiner in the backfield, one of those X factors.
They're going to run a reverse. Daniel, he's looking to pass. He is still going. He should just run. He's going to do that. Not much there. That was a physical tackle on the near sideline against Daniel, who had been hurt already. Man, if Daniel would have just ran to the outside there instead of look to run, that could have been a giant game. Still nice yardage there, and I believe Daniel is down. Man, that is unfortunate to see. It was a very physical, aggressive tackle by St. James right next to that sideline. Daniel, he was hurt earlier. He's hurt once again here.
Officials timeout.
7.5-minute drive already.
I wonder what the record for the longest singular drive in Acacia high school football history is, because I feel like, maybe we haven't broken it, but we're only at the 38. I feel like we've got to be getting close.
It feels like the way this drive is going that they could have the ball literally the entire quarter, which would be unfathomable before this game if you told somebody that Kapaun would just have the ball the entire third quarter. But it kind of feels like that might be where we're headed. And guess what? That could still happen. They could get no points. That's the good thing if you're St. James right now.
Exactly. And I think if you would have told this Thunder defense that, hey, you're going to be out on the field for 12 straight minutes in the third quarter, they would have been like, are you serious? They have to be exhausted. I know we talk a lot about how they kind of rotate players, and these drives is exactly why they do that, to try to keep legs as fresh as they can in there.
Absolutely. And St. James, obviously injury timeout is something you never want to see, but they're loving the opportunity to take a break here.
Both sides.
Absolutely. We'd like to give a quick shout out here to the girls tennis team in state right now. Want to send all our support out to them. They've had a great season so far. We're focused on the football team now. 3rd down and 12 when we come back. Daniel is along his own sideline, got hit hard, violently thrown down, and it looks like probably a leg entry, left leg. Obviously don't want to speculate too much, but really unfortunate. We'd like to thank everybody watching at home tonight for all their support of the Thunder Broadcasting Network. Obviously, know a lot of you cannot make it to the game tonight, so glad you're able to watch it with us on the Thunder Broadcasting Network here. It's going to be 3rd down and 12. Play action pass, first time we've seen it out of the I formation tonight. Burr running out of space, and I think he caught it. St. James calls him out of bounds. And, of course, he catches it 1 yard in front of the marker.
Intended for Keller, incomplete. It's 4th
and they call it incomplete. Okay, so St. James getting a little bit of a break there. That looked like a play that should not have had any chance of having a positive result after how long St. James strung it out. Kapaun will send the punt team out now after 7.5 minutes.
Looks like Kapaun's record-setting drive is going to come to an end. 7.5 minutes.
You never know. It might be a fake here. We'll see. It looks like it is
4th and 12 fake.
That would be surprising, but the way this game has gone, would not be surprised. It's going to be Ryan Kiplamo here, the punter. They've struggled with the kicks, and he got snapped right to him. I think Boone got a piece of it, and it did not matter. Turned out to be a pretty good kick, man. I mean, Boone, I think, was doing his best to try to block that without just trucking the punter there. And he got, I think, maybe a hand on it, and still a great punt.
Down to the 20-yard
So
line.
Kapaun catches a bit of a break there.
St. James takes over 1st and 10.
So St. James offense touching the field for the first time this half with just 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Up 10 still. You probably want one more score to feel a little bit better about that lead. 3 to the left of Mangini. Chase at the bottom on the right. It's a screen pass. Took a while to get there. Moving along the sideline, that's Neeson. Gets the first down for St. James. There is a flag on the play.
Flag on the play. There's no call for an eligible lineman down. Ball, line of scrimmage.
All right, so St. James will get a first down after that call from the ref. That SJ first down is presented by Patrick Exteriors, a local family-owned business since 1996 and a proud sponsor of the SJ Crimson Club. That would be good. One play and one first down for the St. James offense in this second half. Running back flexed out. They're going to go to him. Tujak, no blockers. Can't make the corner miss. Great wrap-up tackle on the outside. Owen Young. They've been challenging him all night, and he has responded for the Crusaders.
He really has, and that right there, that little flex the running back out is a kind of a play that St. James loves to run because they just read that outside linebacker. Is he going to follow the running back to the flat? If so, they're going to take that little curl route in his previous zone, and if not, if he's going to sit on his zone like he did on that last play, they're just going to swing it out to John and let him try to go get a first down.
Yeah, St. James goes back to Tujak there on the quick pitch. It's going to be just short of the marker. St. James needs the 43. They're at the 42. You see St. James starting their drive with a couple quick hitters from Mangini, trying to get him acclimated here. It's been a long time since any of these guys on offense have been on the field. St. James brings Puhala in, so Tujak and Puhala both out there at running back. Means likely a run is coming. Kapaun knows it. They're loading the box. And we'll see. That was really close. It looks like it was down behind the line, but the second effort might have gotten Tujak there. Ref calls it short, so it's going to be fourth down. Cal Purvis, the D tackle, making the play. 4th and 1, St. James. Quick pitch. Tujak, not a clean pitch. Doesn't matter. Gets the first down. That's a big play for St. James.
Tujak on the pitch.
I like to see just a little bit of an unorthodox play there. You know, on 4th and 1, a lot of teams would expect you to just sneak it up the middle, and that's clearly what Kapaun expected. Seemed to have about 7 defensive linemen down in front of the offensive line, and they go to the outside with John, where there's just a few less defenders there, is able to pick it up nicely.
So first down and 10 at midfield. Drops back, quick pass to Neeson, has to make a man miss. That is way too easy. Great block. Chase gives him a small chip. Neeson along the sideline. Does he get there? He does! The 50-yard touchdown, a quick screen, and Neeson takes it all the way. What a play by the senior receiver, Sam Neeson.
And there you just see Sam Neeson's athleticism. Gets the ball in open space, makes the first guy miss, and then just outruns everybody else down the sideline. Credit to Parker Chase there as well for laying just a tiny little block on Owen Young. Does a great job to not get a block in the back penalty. Sam Neeson just turns on the afterburner, is able to sprint all the way home for the touchdown. Great drive by St. James. You love to see those big explosive plays. They really get the whole team fired up.
JT up and good. St. James 24, Crusaders 7. St. James hasn't had that big play all game. They haven't really had that big play on any of these short passes all year long. It's been a lot of deep passes where St. James has made their mark on touchdowns that are farther down the field this year. But Neeson Just need to give him the ball and some space, and he can make some magic happen. You saw that there. That gives St. James a 17-point lead.
And I will say, this is something we're talking a little bit about before, but even though the St. James crowd, not the biggest, I think they've been pretty loud tonight. Certainly better than the Kapaun crowd, might I add.
Yeah, this has been a great showing by the St. James crowd, and I would say this is a less energetic environment than St. James maybe is used to playing in here. St. James will be kicking off now. It's going to be Ken Huff, the running back to return. Daniel had been returning all night long. Unfortunately goes down with the injury. It's going to be a kick on the ground. St. James wants him to return it. Good hands by Huff. Moves up to the 30-yard line. I think Kapaun content to start their drive there with 1:44 to go in the third quarter. Crusaders only have 70 yards to go to punch in a touchdown.
The good news is, though, is that because they're such a run-heavy offense, I mean, obviously we saw it the last drive, 7.5 minutes off the clock. If you do the math, they don't have that many drives left in this game. So if St. James could just force, even if they give up a touchdown here, if they can force 5 minutes to come off the clock, that's very good for them.
A little bit of a counter run to Huff. Nothing doing there. You know, you saw Bird. He threw a one deep ball. It looked pretty, even if it wasn't very accurate. You got to wonder, you know, as a neutral observer here, if I was Kapaun, I'd start thinking about maybe letting Bird throw the ball a little more. I mean, St. James has 8 in the box every time. Everybody knows where the ball's going right now. I think if you're Kapaun, you got to mix it up a little more than they are right now. They're going to throw a quick screen. Not very pretty on the outside. Got a couple. That was Rocco Keller, 6'4" junior receiver. Bring it forward, making it 3rd and medium.
Ben Drury does a nice job on that play over there, even though he doesn't make the tackle. Forces him to cut back inside, which allows those linebackers, Hank Schreiner, Jack Bevitt, even Max Urquette over there at DN to get over there and bring him down early.
3rd and 6. Naked bootleg for Bird. The quarterback tried to throw it with his left. Dreiling brought him down and blew it up. A flag is thrown super late. Yeah, I wonder if it's intentional grounding. That would make sense. He did not get that ball back to the line of scrimmage. The quarterback is injured. Burr is as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, Will. I think it is going to be intentional grounding.
I can't imagine what else it would be.
Unless they're going to get Boone for that little helmet tap. Yeah.
Intentional grounding. Quarterback, 58. 5-yard penalty, lost it down.
Yeah, so a bad play gets worse for Kapaun there, bringing him back even more. You mentioned the tap from Boone there. I think he was just trying to see if the quarterback was okay. Like I just mentioned, Bird did get a little shaken up after that one.
This is a very interesting punt formation.
Punt clean there. What a good one that was. Hornback has to back up. He's going to have to let it go. And Caden Cornwell downs it. Probably could have let it go a few more yards, but decides to stop it right there. St. James begins at the 44.
Got DeMello on the punt.
St. James has been lucky a lot of these drives where Kapaun's having to punt. They're doing a good job of making it a 3 and out, so the offense gets better field position. They've taken advantage of that tonight on the offensive end.
For sure, and I think just looking at the clock, if St. James scores a touchdown on this drive and goes up 31-7, 24-point lead with less than a quarter to go, I think it's going to be very tough for Kapaun to come back. Not saying it's impossible, but it's going to take a lot.
Tujak tried to string it out wide. It did not work. He was brought down. Mason Collins, among others, making the stop there. You can see St. James, we've talked about it a little bit, but they're just gaining more and more trust in their senior running back, Tujak. They're just letting him, you know, this game last week against Blue Valley North, they really let him kind of grind the clock down in the second half. They'll let him do that a little bit tonight. And Tujak has taken advantage of the opportunities. 24-7 will be our score as we head into the fourth quarter. St. James on top.
And that's the end of the third period of play. Third quarter.
Okay, now, are you ready?
All right, I'd like to welcome you back to the Thunder Broadcasting Network. As you can see, St. James 24, Cape and Mount Carmel 7. St. James just got the ball moments ago after a punt. Tujak had a carry for just one, so now 2nd and 9 at the 45. They're going right to left here. Is the St. James offense. They've looked really good all night long. They have an opportunity to put this one away with a touchdown drive here.
Good luck to the Crusaders.
Three on the right, Chase at the bottom on the left, Tujak behind the quarterback Mangini. He has looked really good tonight, except for one mistake that resulted in a turnover. He has played a very nice game at quarterback for the Thunder. Quick drop back, immediately goes to Chase. Chase makes a man miss, tries to make another miss, goes forward, and that was a pretty obvious face mask as well. So a great gain you can just add 15 more onto. And these short, quick passes, these receivers are making these corners miss left and right.
Absolutely, and Frankie does a nice job recognizing that the corner on Parker's playing about 6-7 yards off, and as soon as Parker pushes his stem hard vertical, he's going to flip his hips, and then Parker can just chop his feet, sit right back down. Frankie can hit him with an easy throw, and then Parker just goes and makes a play. Bigger and stronger than the DB, makes a miss, is able to draw the face mask penalty, and the Thunder are in business.
24-yard line. St. James moving quickly on the offensive end right now. They had a few drives in that first half in between their first and last where the offense was sputtering a little bit, but they have looked really, really good for the majority of the night outside of those few drives. Back to that same formation they had on the last play. It's going to be quick screen out to Bruggeman. Oh my, he was hit hard. That was Owen Young laying a lick on Bruggeman on the outside. Clearly somebody missed an assignment there blocking because Bruggeman got hit way earlier than he should have there.
Brought down by Owen Young. Loss on the play of a couple. It's 2nd.
You see the Thunder's kind of taking their time with this drive. They know they're not in any rush. Clock is their friend. They just want to come away with points on this drive, even if it is only a field goal. Obviously, you want that touchdown to go up by 24, but even if you're just going up 20 with a field goal, that's still huge.
Big blitz, drops back, Chase on the outside right at the first down marker. Cole Rapp pushing Chase out. Parker Chase gets 10 there. Still going to be short of the first down marker. It's going to be 3rd down and 1 now for St. James in the red zone.
And one of the things that we've talked about a lot, especially you, Will, is just how nice it must be for backup quarterback Frankie Mangini to have these receivers like Parker, like Sam Neeson, players where you know they're going to be able to get open and know that if you could just get them the ball, they can go do the rest. And we saw Sam Neeson with that big catch and run in that 3rd quarter, and then Parker with 2 straight catches. Just makes Frankie's life much easier.
Play action and incomplete. Went right to Chase. Man, if he completes that, that's a touchdown. That was an absolute bullet for Mangini. Goes over his head. Wrap the man in coverage. St. James offense staying on the field right now. 4th and 2. You'd think they could make the field goal here, but they already missed one with Bevitt. Might just be better to try to put it away. Still would be a 3-score game regardless of if they go with a field goal or not. Offense stays on the field. 2 on both sides of Mangini. 4 on the clock. Gets it off in time. Quick pass. Wonder complete. Makes a man miss. Touchdown, St. James. The senior wide receiver, Jude Wonder. His first touchdown of the season goes into the end zone. A big 4th down conversion, and even bigger with the 6 points added to the board.
Great throw there by Mangini. And again, there's Wonder just finding that nice soft spot in the zone, sitting right down. Frankie delivers a perfect throw right in stride. Great rhythm. Jude's able to just turn it upfield into the end zone. Love to see the TBN member getting into the end zone there. Shout out to Jude. He does our basketball games.
And it's caught, and it is going to be a missed PAT, as you saw there. Unfortunate for St. James. They've had struggles, to put it quite bluntly, all year long with that PAT unit, and another one there. You just got to hope if you're St. James, that feels like something that will come up in a playoff game. That feels like a play where, you're finding some momentum. Maybe you're down in the fourth quarter of a playoff game, and then you just can't make a PAT when you need to. You hope it doesn't happen, but that's certainly something I think St. James worries about right now. Today's fourth quarter is brought to you by Catholic Faith Store, your spot for Catholic medals, rosaries, and more. Catholic Faith Store is a proud supporter of the SJA Crimson Club.
I think you're right, Will. You know, PAT consistency is something that you really take for granted until it's not there, right? Yep. And, you know, I believe it was last week Rockhurst lost by 1 to Aquinas in overtime because of a bad snap on a PAT, and that's how the game ended. So just that consistency, getting that one extra point, not forcing your team to have to go for 2 to tie or take the lead is huge, and it's something you don't realize until it's not there.
Pooch kick, fair caught at the 31. Interesting choice by St. James. They go with a short kick to Jackson Gosh, the sophomore receiver there. It's fair caught at the 31.
Gosh, first and 10 at the 31 for
St. James will start their drive there. First and 10 at the 31. Back on both sides of the quarterback. Burr in the shotgun. He was rattled at the end of last drive. He comes back out here, takes his time on the option, and is brought down.
Dylan Burr on the option keeper. Gains a couple, tackled by Jordan Boone.
And he is down. Like I just mentioned moments ago, he looks shaken up, but I'm not sure they really looked at him.
Dylan is shaken up on the play.
Too much on the sideline there. And now gets hurt again. The backup for Kapaun would be Cole Rapp, number 8. We've seen him in coverage a lot tonight on Parker Chase especially. Rapp, 5'9", 135 sophomore. It's definitely probably one of the smaller quarterbacks St. James would face this year if they brought him in. Obviously, big thing, you just hope that, you know, the kid is in a good spot, hopefully healthy after tonight's game, because Dylan Burr's definitely taken a lot of hits tonight for his Kapaun team. That's a difficult thing, you know, it's just a part of football. It is a physical sport. As you see the quarterback come off the field here. Remember, next week St. James will play against Blue Valley West. We'll have that covered on the Thunder Broadcasting Network. Please be sure to tune in for TBN Game Day Live, our pregame show at 6:30 or so. You know, this looks like right now St. James probably a team that's going to go in on a 2-game win streak. And now it is going to be Cole Rapp at quarterback. Brought down, big play, Jack Bevitt. Who else? He's been making plays all night long.
You know, I don't want to toot my own horn too much here, but I picked him as my Shields X Factor of the game, and he has definitely delivered. So I'm going to just pat myself on the back for that one. He's had a phenomenal game. He's been in the backfield on multiple stops, getting those negative yardage plays.
And Raquette helps bring him down there. That was Purvis on the short carry, the fullback dive. Punt unit comes on for Kapaun once again. They've been out there a lot tonight. This is a spot I think St. James is looking at probably bringing John Hornback in the game next drive at quarterback. The sophomore came into the year as the third-string quarterback, but with the injury to Beshore now is the backup. I think probably is going to be your guy the rest of the game. A lot of confusion on the field right now for Kapaun, but I think they got 11 guys on the field now. They're running out of time. They have to hurry to get a snap off. St. James is trying to block it. Hornback comes late. That did not work. You know, you don't see that very often, what just happened there, and that could not have been a better punt for Kapaun, but Hornback at the last second there, instead of returning, he took off in a full sprint, went straight by the long snapper and just jumped in the air, tried to get a block. That's certainly a unique play. Did not work, but I love the strategy, and let's see. Hopefully we see that again this year and it works for St. James.
Hey, you love to see a little creativity from the Thunder. The special teams, you know, kind of an aspect of the game that gets overlooked a little bit. So, you know, it's not super common to have creativity on special teams, but when you do have it, often it can be a treat to watch.
Yeah, certainly a unique play there for St. James. Like I mentioned, John Hornback is in the game at quarterback. The rest of the group on offense is the starters trying to get the young sophomore some experience. We saw him a little bit last week, came in, played a drive for Mangini, and closed the game out as well. Hornback, he's going to go deep to Chase. Oh, bobbled, no. Oh, man, that looked like it was just a little off. It got tipped into the air. If Chase could have caught that, he might have been gone. Shrek was heading to the ground as Chase had the opportunity to bring it in. What a treat that would have been if one play, 93-yard touchdown for Hornback, but goes all for naught. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
Absolutely. That's a ball that you keep and you frame in your room if that's your first touchdown. But I do love to see the aggression from offensive coordinator Matt Joshi. He has confidence in his play caller. And you're right, Will, that was almost just a circus catch from Parker there. And I got to think if he would have come down with it, he would have been gone. It looked like that defender would have just been thrown off.
They're going to give to Tujak, going far side, not much there. You know, you mentioned it, St. James being aggressive, play one. Frankly, I think if you're St. James, you're bringing Hornback in. There's 9 minutes left. There's no reason to not keep your fullback playbook open. In fact, it really doesn't do much, I think, to help Hornback get comfortable. If you're just telling him to hand the ball off, I think giving him the opportunity to make some passes probably makes him a little bit more varsity ready if he was pressed into action at any point this year.
Exactly. I mean, we saw what happened with Bishore and how his injury was just one play. I mean, one play could change everything. He could have to step in if Mangini gets hurt and Bishore is not back yet. So you want him to be comfortable.
Wow, he was almost brought down for a safety. He got rid of the ball there. That was a great rush. Cal Purvis, you got to think intentional grounding is coming.
His forward progress was stopped. 4th down.
I believe they said he went down.
Cut it a sack on the play by Cal Purvis.
Like we mentioned, it's hard to tell where the lines are here. That really looked like that should have been a safety, but obviously, you trust the refs. And they say he was down at the 2-yard line after the sack. Purvis making a big play on defense. Now Boydston on to punt, low punt, and it's going to go over the returner's head. Shrek thought he had it, and it was over his head, and now it's time for him to try to dance and make some guys miss. It's working so far. He's brought down at the 35.
On the return,
Bruggeman helps bring him down.
Down to the St. James 35. On the tackle time for St. James. 1st and 10.
First and 10 at the 35. I believe Burr's back in at quarterback. Love to see that. He came down with a hard injury last drive. It's going to be a short carry. Jack Bevitt, man, he's been near the top of the tackle leaders all year long for St. James. You got to think he's going to be skyrocketing to the top of the list after today because he is everywhere right now on the run defense for St. James. Now Kapaun going a little faster. They're running the option. They're going to give to Purvis. Nice run of about 5, making it 3rd and manageable.
No, I will say, I know I said this either at the end of the second half or during halftime, but I've been very impressed with the defensive line of St. James, their ability to stop these runs up the gut. I mean, Purvis is obviously a big guy, and there it is again, just about a 2-yard gain, forcing them into a 4th and 1. We saw it on the first drive of the second half, too, forcing Kapaun to use all 4 downs just to pick up that first down. And I'm very glad because in that Aquinas game, we saw them have a very solid first quarter defensively. And then as the game wore on, kind of as attrition set in, those 2-yard rushes turned into 3, turned into 4, turned into 6. And that really hasn't happened tonight. If anything, the first drive of the game was the worst that we've seen the Thunder defense play. They've only gotten better as the day has gone on.
4th down, nothing there. You know, it felt like the quarterback and fullback had the ball together for about 3 seconds. They tackled the fullback, and then the fullback just gave it to the quarterback as he fell down. Refs have to convene. That's one of the things when the ball's just out there that long, it's really hard to tell who has it.
This gain would be close to 1st down.
I think it would be a first if they say the quarterback kept it. I don't know how you could make that call. Let's see.
Inadvertent whistle on the play. We'll replay 4th down.
Okay, so they're going to replay 4th down, probably a result you can hear the Kapaun crowd in dismay of.
Loudest they've been tonight.
It kind of feels that way, but I can't fault the refs there. I think that's probably the right call because it's just a weird play, man. You don't normally see a guy on the ground with the ball and a guy standing up with the ball. The inadvertent whistle made it difficult. 4th and 2, they're going to give back to Shrek. Powers forward and gets the first, so
Hand off is to Noah Shrek.
Cape Ann fans should be happy there. And a little bit of a extra flop there after that one for Cape Ann.
And what's new? 1 yard past the sticks, enough to pick up the first down. Now Cape Ann going with a little more tempo.
Oh, here's the big run they might have wanted. Purvis, he's taken 2 along with him, still pushing the pile forward. And that is what Purvis does so well. They have not been able to get him loose past the D-line much tonight, but when he gets in space, he is a tough guy to bring down.
Absolutely. That's what I thought we were going to be seeing a little bit more of tonight, is him getting to that second level. But like I said, this Thunder defensive line has played so well. They've been able to make almost every stop at the line and not force that secondary to have to step up and make big tackles like they just had to.
5:53 and counting, 37 is the score. It's going to be a give to Shrek. Shrek in and out. Gets 4 on the carry. Cape Ann inside the red zone for the first time this half, looking to make the most out of it with some points. Give to Shrek again, right up the middle. Not much there. Dreiling helps bring him down, and credit you've talked about all night, Jonathan. The D-line has played tremendous. The D tackles really have been the guys that have stood out, though. It looks like an injury. Timeout here. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 when we come back. 5:22 on the clock. All right, with just 5 minutes left in this game, 37 St. James on top. Jonathan, who is your Shields defensive player of the game tonight?
I'm going to go with Jack Bevitt. We've talked about him a lot on the broadcast tonight, but that's because he's really been everywhere. He's been in the backfield. He's been coming on blitzes. He's been making plays, when the running back gets to that second level, multiple tackles for loss. Like you said, I think he really does climb that ladder as far as tackle leaders go on the St. James defense. He's really just had a complete game tonight. He was one of those guys that I said before the game was going to have to be on their A game to help with that run support, and he has lived up to that role and exceeded it tonight. Great game out there from Jack Bevitt. He's the defensive player of the game for me.
Quarterback rolling to his right. Riquette running at him, makes the smart choice to throw it out of bounds.
First pass is incomplete.
So it's going to be 4th down and 6 here. Jack Bevitt, like you said, will be our Shields defensive player of the game tonight. On top of that, he also made a field goal, so that's something that I think a lot of our offensive and defensive players of the game probably are not going to be able to say much this year. Cape Ann is going to go with a field goal attempt here. Doesn't really matter. Grand scheme of things, as far as this game goes, you're probably not winning, so might as well try the field goal attempt here.
We'll make Jack Bevitt our special teams player of the game, too. Why not?
Go. There is 5 seconds on the play clock. They are not going to be getting a kickoff here unless there's an absolute miracle. We are at double zeros on the play clock. Blown dead. Coach of Cape Ann not very happy. I think maybe he thought the clock started early and now the refs have to convene. Even if that is the case, Cape Ann certainly took their time in making that decision, so definitely a little bit self-inflicted, but they are going to go without a penalty here. A bit puzzling, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Kick is up, looks good, and it is. All right, so it is put through there. 27-yard field goal. That's Ethan DuPont, the sophomore kicker, putting one through the uprights. Cape Ann's a team that's struggled with the kickoffs all year long, but the field goal was plenty good there for DuPont. That gives Cape Ann their first score of the second half. St. James lining up, ready to receive an onside kick here. Tujak and Chase back, everyone else, the hands team up front. We'll see what Cape Ann goes with. It's a 30-10 score, so 3 touchdowns would give Cape Ann a victory here if they could, by some miracle, get some in the next 5 minutes or so.
And I understand the logic. You're down big. You want to try to go for an onside kick, but honestly, what's it really going to do? I think if you're Kapaun, you're losing this game either way. So maybe, just get a little bit of offense, onside kick practice for the kicker in case you really need it.
Yeah, you obviously want to try to win the game. That's how you do it. But I think they're going to go with the onside kick here. What a great kick that was. That was perfect. And I think St. James still might have recovered it. We'll see what the refs go with here. That kick could not have been better. Went right by the St. James guys, and St. James signals that they got it, and they do. So a perfect kick there by DuPont. It does not matter. St. James gets the ball. Ben Drury on the hands team comes away with it, and St. James offense will pick up there at the 42.
Got to think that the Thunder offense is just going to try to run this game, run the clock down, try to run the ball as much as they can, maybe throw the ball a little bit. I'd like to see them take maybe one or two more deep shots with Hornback back there, but ultimately I think if they're able to pick up the yardage on the ground, why would you go away from that? You're running on the clock. It's probably safer than passing anyways.
Yeah, and at a certain point, obviously, it becomes a sportsmanship thing, but like we mentioned earlier, this is you have your backup quarterback in there. You want to get him some reps. Brogan Jaworski now in at running back, the third string back, the senior for the Thunder, plays a little bit of fullback as well, big special teams contributor. They're going to give a quick pitch to him, going along the near side. Ball out! Let's see if they say Kapaun recovered it inbounds. They say it went out of bounds, so Jaworski gets one attempt and not for much there. Loses a few and fumbles it out of bounds. That's certainly something, St. James fumbling the football. It's been a thing that I think is hard at just generally in the high school level. More guys fumble than maybe in college or the NFL, but St. James has really struggled with it this year. Thankfully, we haven't seen that issue much tonight, though.
Agreed. They've really cleaned it up tonight. Last game against Blue Valley North, they've really played 3 clean quarters of football, and I think tonight, so far, it's been all 4 quarters. Here's the deep shot.
You got what you wanted. It was incomplete. Hornback moved up nicely in the pocket, went to Bruggeman and hit his hand, just barely incomplete. Solid coverage on the outside. As Noah Schreck on the defense there. It's going to be 3rd and 13 now. The unfortunate thing, why St. James doesn't choose to pass the ball much in these sort of situations, it does mean the clock stops. So we're at 4:54 now. They haven't, St. James, you're up by this much. The goal is really to take time off the clock, but you can't do that when you have these incomplete passes. The receivers for Hornback to work with, Luke Neeson at the bottom, Wonder, Albright, and Bruggeman. Big blitz. Hornback evades. Nothing there. It went right to Jaworski. Unfortunately, couldn't bring it in. Probably not getting a first down either way.
Rush by Benjamin Doring.
Now it's going to be 4th down. St. James will send the punt unit on. It's going to be Schreck to return. Boydston will punt for St. James. Clock stopped once again after the incompletion there.
Boydston on to punt for St. James. Schreck back deep for Kapaun.
Good snap, Boydston. Nice punt going towards the far side. Wynn caught a hold of that, pushing it back towards St. James a little bit. It's going to be down at the 22-yard line. So that's where Kapaun will begin their drive. 4:35 left. St. James up 20 rather, 30-10. Jonathan, who is your Shields offensive player of the game for St. James tonight?
I'm going to have to go with the quarterback, Frankie Mangini. The leader of the offense. I think it's hard not to pick him when your offense has put up 30 points in a game. He's played a great game. He's taken care of the football, which is something we talked a lot about pregame. Is that something that needs to happen? He's been very composed, very calm in the pocket. He's been able to make a number of very nice throws. As the ball comes out.
On the ground. Man, that was on the ground for what felt like an hour. Just barely rolls out of bounds. What great pressure from Dreiling, though, bringing the quarterback down.
Aiden Dreiling on the pressure that time for St. James.
But anyways, all credit to Frankie. He's played a great game. Really has almost felt like having a starting quarterback out there with how smooth our offense has looked tonight. And you love to see it. You can definitely tell he's getting more comfortable back there, more comfortable in the system, more comfortable making his reads, and his pocket presence is really improving. And that's really all you can ask for, especially for a guy who you didn't think you were going to have to lean on, and then he ends up starting for half the season for you. So you love to see his progression and how he's made this game his best game. He's the offensive player of the game.
Yeah, so he's, I think, good pick there, Jonathan. Offensive player of the game, quarterback Francis Mangini, the junior. It's going to be a drop back now for Kapaun, going deep, going for Keller. That was a little bit too deep. Tried to throw that one to Colorado, and nothing there. It's going to be 3:57, 4th and 18. You can hear a little bit of displeasure from the Kapaun crowd around to us right now. Obviously a difficult game for them. St. James will get it back. We'll call that our defensive stop tonight. Tonight's defensive stop of the game is brought to you by Rivers Edge Scrap Management. They take the guests out of recycling and are a supporter of the SJA Crimson Club. Hornback will be back to return, stands at his own 48-yard line. Great punts the last couple for Kapaun. Good snap, he catches it clean. Hornback is going to let it take a bounce and try and make something happen. Here he goes, he makes a man miss, reversing field, and gets some positive yardage there. You know Hornback wants to bring one back. He hasn't done it yet this year. I think he probably thought maybe that was my chance with a 20-point lead. Maybe you can bring one back. Couldn't do it there. We'll have to wait and see if he can do it later on this season. St. James offense back out there again. It's going to be Hornback at quarterback at the 50-yard line, 3:44. Might go back to the run game a little bit more here. Senior Logan Puno now in at running back as more backups are rotating in with the game no longer in doubt. Wonder in motion. It's going to be a straight keep with Hornback. Takes it, gets a couple.
John Hornback on the quarterback draw.
And he's going to be brought down. That's Austin Howard, the linebacker, the leader of that defense, the senior.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
So it looks like St. James is just going to try to run this clock out. I doubt Kapaun will try to use their timeouts down 20. It looks like if St. James could pick up 1 first down, maybe about 2 first downs, probably they'll have this game wrapped up.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like time-wise right now. Kapaun could use the timeouts, but that seems a little unnecessary. I would expect they would not at this point in the game, and St. James obviously has to do their part and keep it on the ground as well. Final 3 minutes here, quick pass. They're going to go to Bruggeman. That one chucked into the ground by Hornback.
Pass is incomplete.
And you know, that's right why you want St. James to throw the ball a little bit right there, right? That was not a good pass. That was not a good play, but getting rid of some of these less good plays, getting rid of some of the rust, if you will, in the varsity is a lot better when you're up 20 than when you need Hornback potentially later on in the year.
Absolutely. I think you make a good point. And, you know, obviously you talked about sportsmanship, and you don't really want to be running up the score, but you also, like you said, need to get the kids some experience in a number of different situations, a number of different plays, really open up the playbook for him, seeing not only for him, but for the coaches, what's working for him, what's not working for him, what is he comfortable with, what is he not comfortable with, and you note those things so that you can work on the uncomfortable plays in practice so that you can bring them into the game, and you put in those comfortable plays in the game if he ever does have to step in. Hopefully he doesn't, and the rest of our quarterback room is able to stay healthy and get healthy. But you never know what can happen, and if he needs to come in, he's got to be ready.
Absolutely. We had a nice pass there to Jet for a few yards, not enough to get the first down. Now it is going to be 4th down. St. James will be punting the ball off here. Boydston back to punt again. Not many punts until this 4th quarter, and then it feels like every other minute we've had a punt right now. That's just how it goes sometimes. Boydston might have outkicked his coverage a little bit. Not sure why he's picking it up at his own goal line, and he is being chased by St. James, brought down. That's Nate Bright, the sophomore offensive tackle, bringing him down. I believe a flag was thrown on the play as well in the backfield, probably an illegal block by Kapaun. Right around his own 5.
Drury on the tackle.
Like we mentioned earlier, be sure to tune in to Thunder Broadcasting Network next week as St. James takes on Blue Valley West.
Block in the back during the return. Number 20, the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Kapaun.
Jude Porter, the junior, with the penalty there. But again, remember, make sure to tune in next week. Thunder Broadcasting Network Game Day Live starts at 6:30. The pregame show for St. James game starts at 7. Last regular season game before playoff football starts, and St. James first season back in 5A. Kapaun, we mentioned earlier, they're going to be playing in 4A, also getting ready for their playoffs as they look like they're going to be taking their second loss of the year tonight.
Absolutely. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but these games that affect playoff seeding really are huge. And it looks like St. James is going to come away with a win in this one. And if they can get another win next week against Blue Valley West and kind of carry this 3-game win streak and the momentum that comes with that into the playoffs, that's definitely best case scenario for the Thunder. If they can get a win streak going into the playoffs, then even if they do end up losing next week, they can still look back at these 2 wins in a row and see, hey, what did we do well? What did we do differently in these wins than in our losses that allowed us to get over to the top? And then just when you get to the playoffs, you have to be even more dialed in. You have to be dialed in every single night. You step out on the field, but then once you're in the playoffs, if you lose, you go home. And I know most of the seniors that start on this team, they want to go all the way. I mean, obviously, everyone wants to go all the way every year, but when it's your last game and it's potentially your last game, you're putting everything out there that you can. And so they just need to be extra prepared going in and with best-case scenario, a 3-game win streak.
Absolutely. This is a St. James team already, by getting a win tonight, will have a better record than they did last year. So that at least is signs of some improvement after a team that won state in 2022, I believe. Took a couple steps back in 2023. Rather, they won in 21, took a couple steps back in 22 and 23. Now in 2024, looking to get back to their winning ways.
Just like a real NFL team, little rebuild, mini rebuild, get the front office right, get the coaching staff right, get back to the top once you've got your roster retooled. And obviously their 2021 championship team was very good. And I think this roster has lots of talent on it. Obviously playing in 5A, you're going to have a little bit tougher competition, but I'm not ruling out a possible 5A state title for the Thunder, especially if they can get B-Shore back, if they could keep firing on all cylinders like they have.
Absolutely, as St. James will come back out. You just saw their Hornback with the fair catch offense heads onto the field now. Probably a kneel and we get out of here situation for St. James. I wouldn't say with these backups, and we've seen, the most encouraging plays from some of these younger guys, but I think just getting experience generally is really what's important.
And I think also they know that, what they're doing right now doesn't really matter. And even if they want to be fully dialed in, I just don't think they are, just based on the circumstances of this game.
Yeah, they know this game's over. They know they're going to get the win. And so I think, the players recognize that, and you respond a little bit differently to that, and as does the coaching. That will be the final play of the game. St. James will kneel on it and send it into Week 8. St. James 2-5 right now, 3-4 rather, getting a win here tonight at Kapaun. 30 St. James, 10 Kapaun. We mentioned our players of the game earlier. Offensive player Francis McGeaney, defensive player Jack Bevitt. But Jonathan, just generally, what do you think helped St. James work so well tonight?
I think it was the line play. I talked about it before the game. I've kind of talked about it all season. But especially that defensive line, the way they were able to shut down the Kapaun run game. We talked about 85% run. They probably lived up to those percentages, if not a little bit more in this game. And St. James really stonewalled them after that first drive. Defensive line did a great job, that linebacker core as well. All credit to them. And then the offensive line did a really nice job at giving McGeaney time to sit back in the pocket and find his receivers. So you love to see that St. James wins the line of scrimmage tonight, and the scoreboard reflects that.
Absolutely, and a very nice effort from the guys tonight against St. James. Gets the 30-10 win tonight against Kapaun, Mount Carmel, and the Crusaders. Make sure to tune in next Friday as the Thunder will head to take on Blue Valley West. Be sure to tune in to TPN Game Day Live around 6:30 before the kickoff at 7. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to our broadcast tonight, along with all of our camera operators, tech directors, and our producers behind the scenes alongside Jonathan May. I am Will Nichols. So long from Wichita. We will see you next week on the Thunder Broadcasting Network.
This broadcast is a product of St. James Academy. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the pictures and accounts of this Thunder Broadcasting Network production without the express written consent of St. James Academy is prohibited.